Welcome
Tries
to
again. Take two.
Visionaries Global Media, your #1 source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
This is Banned from Ringside.
Tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast, we have your WrestleMania Backlash predictions. Jinder Mahal is back, probably the biggest news of the week. There's triple threats all around, guys. WrestleMania Backlash, Kenny Omega, Orange Cassidy, Pac, all sorts of stuff. That and a whole bunch more tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast.
The first take was better.
You think so?
Oh, I know so.
As Jason would say, you ain't shit.
It's that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Mark. So welcome to the Banned from Ringside podcast. As always, I'm your host, Bill Vagey, a.k.a. They Get Older, I Stay the Same, kayfabe. to my
That's
left.
a better AKA, though.
To my left, for the first time in probably 14 months,
Amen, baby.
we have Two Beer Zach Bowman. How you doing, Two Beer?
It's so nice to be on this deck out here. Like, this is like what we need to be doing, and then I'm moving in 33 days.
To Portland, it's going to rain all the time.
It is. But no, this is lovely out here, and I'm really enjoying it. And we did the customary St. Charles County thing where we spit in each other's mouths whenever I toured the house for the first time. So it was cool.
And to my right, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
On that note, I was to bow our heads as I read from the latest edition of the Banned from Ringside podcast, volume 205, chapter 3, verse 14, and the good smart saith, hashtag boo the heels. It is all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat. I personally did not share that St. Charles swap spinning episode when I first got here
you're from
last
North
week.
County.
Yeah, so just wanted to put that out there, number one.
North County, yeah.
We don't do that shit. We bro hug up in this motherfucker. This is nice, though, being outside. It's
That's our bro hug.
Yeah, right? I guess so.
That's because you're the bull. You got to spit in Aaron's mouth.
Whoa!
Jesus Christ. Oh, that's my
I was getting ready
wife.
to say, we got a Bobby Lashley episode going on over here. Interesting week of wrestling per usual. Plenty of shit going on. Let's get it jumping.
We are coming at you from the sunny suburbs of St.
Dude,
Louis.
it's sunny. I'm
St.
going to get a farmer's
Charles,
tan. I got the
Missouri.
left side of me.
It is our
bacon.
first podcast at my new house. I do have a pretty nice deck. I'm pretty happy to be here. It's covered. I'm happy to have you guys over. Welcome.
Good to be here. No, this motherfucker's nice. I mean, if I was somehow to get married and settle off and have some kids, this is why I would do it. But, that ain't shit gonna happen. So
This deck is about as nice as Penelope Ford's rack.
If Jason talks too loud, the cops might get pulled. Might
this
get
is
called.
true. That's
but
I was gonna say. I was thinking about that on the way
No,
over here.
you're
I was
good.
like,
You're good.
don't curse too loud.
You're good.
You're gonna have to take some of the bass off.
Did you
your
come
voice.
370?
I did not.
Okay,
did.
I would leave 370 if I were you.
Yeah, probably a safe.
But F&B. I guess we're saying sponsors now, guys. We
No,
are just
no sponsors, but I will give a plug to my friend's brewery because on the way here, because I don't come out this way that often, I cruised down 270 and I went to my buddy Jeff's brewery, Narrow Gauge Brewing. Picked up a few 4-packs of beer, completely contactless, ordered online, tipped well. You text, they have somebody come out, leave it on a table for you. It was dope. So
That's the wave of the future
beers-
right there.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, don't forget about Bill's Beard Company. If you want any beard balm, beard oil, beard shampoo, shower steamers, bath bombs, I forget what the rest of this shit's called. Father's Day is coming up. Listen, you would be supporting what's technically a very small business and what is a budding family that could use the support, especially now that we have this huge house to spend all this money in.
Your boy needs some lugs. You can buy a beer bomb or 3.
With that being said, let's get to that. 3 counts.
1, 2, 3.
Kick us off, JCB.
I can do anything.
Anything you want.
Okay, well, then I'll do the one that I know, I pretty much know versus the one I don't know.
Gender.
Fuck it, I'm out.
There's
You guys are
only-
supposed
there's
to leave
only two.
You guys are supposed to leave a Jinder Mahal for me.
Fuck that shit. You can have that.
That was a joke, by the way.
Yeah, right.
There's a spectrum of genders. So anyway.
I was like, what
didn't
the
even
fuck
get
is he doing on TV? I'm like, dude, no way this is happening. No, we're not going to do gender as the one count.
He should do a gimmick where he's like, there can only be one.
You ain't shit. NXT on Tuesday nights. I said it last week, and I'm going to say it again this week. I thought NXT, even though the numbers don't show it, which is kind of a surprise, I thought NXT the last couple weeks has kind of improved, getting away from trying to counter produce against Dynamite. But I thought these were being shows that were well done and starting to get deeper into storylines. Main event, 2 out of 3 falls for the Cruiserweight title. We had Kushida going over Santos Escobar. A little on the short side. I was kind of hoping that they would give this a little more time to breathe, maybe 25, 30 minutes total, especially when it's 2 out of 3 falls.
I mean, they can't control how tall they are, Jason.
It was 25 minutes.
It was.
Oh, you're talking about the time. Of the
Oh,
match.
okay, because I was going to say that second fall was like the usual main roster. Here's your 5 minutes of the second fall. Usually that's the first fall. Either way, I was thinking that was going to happen. Kushida going over, I don't have a problem with that. Santos Escobar is going to be around. He's got that star potential where somewhere down the line, if Karrion Kross can survive, apparently everybody and their mama going after him, Johnny Gargano included. Not just yet. I think his match with Bronson Reed now being a steel cage match for the North American title might free him up to go after Karrion Kross. We had Finn Balor coming back out and staking his claim back to the title match. That'll be coming up in 2 weeks. So there's 3 topics you guys can to fuck with, anyone you want to go with.
Well, what did you think about the Kushida Santos Escobar match, Zach?
I mean, I thought it was a really good match. I really enjoyed it. And I think the thing that I enjoyed the most about it was there was no fuckery, right? We see fuckery often, and we had Kushida pinning the guy with his move, right? Like, we don't usually see that, especially with a heel who's in a stable. And also that hammerlock fisherman suplex is phenomenal.
Killer.
Yeah, that's a great finisher. So I like that they're getting behind Kushida, and this is kind of where we wanted Kushida to be, even if it's not necessarily the title, right? Because the title doesn't have a ton of prestige, but maybe Kushida can bring that prestige by facing worthwhile opponents like Santos Escobar, like Pete Dunne, like these guys that he can have great matches with and bring some prestige to this title.
I love the match. I think that they've done a really good job of protecting Kushida since basically he showed up in NXT. He really hasn't taken a whole lot of losses. Hasn't taken a whole lot of clean losses.
I wouldn't like bad losses, like what the fuck's kind of losses. Him losing in the Cruiserweight Classic. In theory, that's supposed to happen because you got the best 8 cruiserweights.
Sure.
And somebody's going to take an L at some point. I was a little disappointed in that, but now I think they're starting to kind of, here you go, Jay. Here's your Kushida.
Escobar is kind of a strange cruiserweight to me because he's not really a high energy wrestler as far as cruiserweight goes. He definitely wrestles a slowed down type of match, which I thought was not a clash of styles with Kushida, but I thought it worked really well. 2 out of 3 falls matches aren't my favorite for the same reason that Jason mentioned, because they're kind of formulaic where there'll be some really quick pinfalls at the beginning. I thought this match was really good. I was glad Kushida went over, and I'm excited to see who he takes on next. The other thing that you mentioned, so did you mention, now there's a lot of stuff to talk about. You mentioned Karrion Kross and Austin Theory. Finn Balor comes out. What's going on with Karrion Kross, Jason? Is he a babyface? Is he a heel? He sells a lot for a monster. I mean, he sells a lot for a monster. And he also kind of wrestles from underneath a lot, too. So, is Karrion Kross a heel? Look,
okay.
Before you answer, I was just thinking this as I was watching it Tuesday night, because I was watching it live, and Scarlett was behind him, and he's got this really creepy intro, almost like, I don't know, Undertaker-ish. Like, it's all in black and white. You know, she's going crazy behind him, looking all like gothy and shit. And he wrestles in kind of a Maximus Aurelius
that was new
type thing.
I was going to say that's the first time they broke that out.
It seems really kind of antithetical to the character that he's trying to play via promo and also via wrestler. What do you think?
For this particular match, I think he's coming off as the heel. Austin Theory is pretty much harmless at this point, and it feels like he's kind of picking on the weak a little bit. So for this particular match, I think he's the heel. The bigger story is Finn Balor and kind of moving forward. I don't think either one can really be a face or a heel against each other. To me, they're both kind of tweeners. Finn doesn't necessarily hide behind the fact that he would get a little dirty to get the title back. Karrion Kross can get dirty whenever he needs to as well. But we haven't seen either one kind of do anything heelish to the other. Neither one has jumped the other one from behind. Neither one has interfered in matches.
When Finn Balor came out, he hit him right in his face.
Right. He waited until he, you see me, right? You see who this is, right? Okay, game on. Yak. Same thing last week where they did it flip where Finn came from, out of the camera angle or whatever, and then Karrion Kross turned, and then here's Finn Balor again. It was like, I don't wait in lines. I want my rematch. That's a babyface kind of the move. You know what I'm saying?
And it is confusing to a traditional wrestling audience, which I think NXT has to a large degree because they have that over 50 audience, like primarily. So these are people that have been watching wrestling for a long time, and they look for something fresher than the main roster, but they're still kind of grounded in that WWE style and in that traditional, heel babyface, which is funny because when you look at AEW, you have a completely new wave style, like modern pro wrestling, but it's obvious who's the heels and baby faces in like every scenario. Whereas I think NXT is struggling with that because even at the top of their women's division, like Raquel had the same situation. So it has to be intentional. I feel like I can't think it's negligence, right? And just like pure confusion or anything where they can't decide. Or situational where they're like, well, he'll be a babyface here and a heel there. I think Finn Balor really embodies that, as you said, because Finn Balor is such a likable guy. Even as a heel, people want to root for him because, like Fergus is like a total like great guy, and even like if Bill said he gets his hands dirty, he's still a likable character because it's not like that cheating heel bullshit. It's like a badass heel kind of thing. But getting back to Karrion Kross, though, it is confusing, and I'm not like a huge Karrion Kross fan. To me, I would have to say Karrion Kross needs to show me something because for me, us watching these old NXT takeovers, for me, Karrion Kross is the weakest champion since Bo Dallas.
Ooh, damn. That's a hot take.
What would be the other answer, though? Like, who would be a weaker champion than... I mean, I can't think of one.
He just hasn't proven himself, and part of it was the injury, and part of it's not his fault. Part of it is the positioning.
I mean, Keith Lee got bounced on his first attempt.
Yeah, but, like, he was over, at least, and then he was on to supposedly bigger and better things.
Well, who's... I guess
I'm just throwing the name out there.
Okay, but to Zach's point, who do you think is a better talent, Keith Lee or Karrion Kross? Come on, I mean it's Keith Lee. You got to think about that.
Yeah, I do. I really do. I think I'm huge on Karrion Kross. I have been since Impact.
But they haven't utilized the best thing about what Killer Kross did on Impact.
Okay, now that's a different argument. Okay. Totally a different argument, okay? Sure. And I will concede to that. Same thing with Keith Lee. WWE has their own formula, their own game plan. what you did before really doesn't matter once you get into this door.
Yeah, and it's obvious that they're high on Karrion Kross themselves because of the entrance, because of his positioning. But for me as like a viewer, and this is a work rate title, very much so. Like almost more than any other title in wrestling.
America.
Right? Yeah, in like North America. I mean, you've got the AEW title, which I feel like is the most prestigious title for me.
Shocker.
Like, well, just the way they handle the title, right? Like, and we don't have to.
With you.
But we don't have to like segue into that. But like,
Don't make me do it.
just as far as the handling of the title, you know, long reigns, strong champions,
Yes.
undefeated,
Totally get it.
but the NXT title is very much that work rate championship, and it holds a lot of prestige. But whether it's the injury or whatever it is, I feel like Karrion Kross, and I feel like even Karrion Kross himself probably feels like he has something to prove, right? Because he hasn't done what he wanted to do. So I'm waiting for it.
Well, I'll just say this, and it kind of leads me into what I was saying before I stopped or whatever. There are guys that are kind of, you know, in position, you know, in some form or fashion, whether it's Kyle O'Reilly or Pete Dunne. Johnny Gargano's kind of on the outside looking in, but he has the title. Not saying he'll have the title after next week. We'll see what happens. Haven't even said Adam Cole, baby. So, I mean, there are contenders. We can kind of, if Karrion Kross can get past Finn Balor, then you can kind of look down the line and be like, okay, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen. So that could be your long title reign that could, you know, establish Karrion Kross as somebody that you would see as a stronger NXT champion.
I honestly think he's not even really in line for a long title reign. I think he is in line to do some defenses, and he's a Vince guy.
Yeah, I guess I completely agree with that. My biggest problem with Karrion Kross is the way that he's being presented. It just sends a lot of mixed messages to me as, like, you know, I'm a pretty well-versed, you know, seasoned wrestling fan, and when I look at a guy and I watch him every week, and I'm like, I really don't know what I'm supposed to think about this guy. His valet acts like a complete fucking goth heel. He cuts promos kind of like a babyface. As a big guy, he doesn't really destroy that many people. Like, they don't give him, like, squash matches or anything. He goes out there, and he sells a lot. He sold a lot for Austin Theory the other night. What? Okay, why is he fighting Austin Theory?
Especially because Austin Theory, I mean, he's young, but he's a total nerd. He's a geek.
He's not on the same part of the card as Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross should be just crushing him.
Yeah.
And if you don't want Austin Theory to get crushed, then you don't book the match.
Okay, and I said it when you left. That's the heel part of Karrion Kross. He had no business in this match. There was no reason to book this match. He booked this match because he felt that you disrespected my woman. So in that sense, you disrespected my woman, you got to get your ass handed to you.
That's babyface. That is babyface. And fighting against Austin Theory,
it's a heelish move because he's picking on the weak.
Well,
you know
Austin
that man
Theory's
ain't got
a clear heel. Like he's a dumb fuck likable meathead.
So even now, between us three, we don't know what to make of him.
I said he was a tweener.
But it's just like
for the given match, you can swing him either way.
Well, that says something about his talent. What it doesn't say a lot about is how much you can get over. It's hard to get over as a tweener.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only guy to successfully do it is Finn Balor because of the reasons that I stated before.
Yeah, Finn Balor's hard to dislike.
He's just that dude.
There have been guys that have done it before.
No, I'm just saying in NXT championships, right? Like,
yeah.
As NXT title holders, it's usually pretty clear. And he seems to be being positioned against heels. But he, like you said, he comes off heelish, like, in some ways, and babyface in other ways. And it's just confusing. So I feel like kind of talking in circles. It's just confusing, and I feel like we shouldn't have to have powwows, as much as I love
about whether or not the champion is a heel or a babyface.
Yes. Yeah, we shouldn't. It shouldn't be.
It's not like this is the first time, though, guys. I mean, this happens other places and other times. There have been tweener world champions before.
Are we talking about those other places and other times right now, though, Jason? Or
No,
are we
we're
talking
not.
about Karrion Kross?
No, we're not, Dad.
Okay.
Sorry.
So did that come across as dad-like?
Kinda,
you know who really came across as dad-like is William Regal with Leon Ruff backstage. Can I just say this? William Regal is kind of a spectacular actor.
He's great.
Yeah.
Like, when Leon Ruff got in his face and he stood up and got back in Leon Ruff's face, I kind of, flinched. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah,
Dude,
that was a good way to say you pissed Dad off.
Because he is a real man. But he also is, a legit authority figure. And for people that say authority figures don't work in wrestling anymore, that is inaccurate because they totally can, especially when they're as talented as William Regal.
Right, especially when you're not a babyface or a heel. You're William Regal, and he was a great actor. He's a great actor.
Yeah,
and
great wrestler.
Great wrestler. And him with Leon Ruff back there was a lot of fun. Vice just showed up. We're going to get him a microphone here in a second. But in the meantime, what did you think about MSK versus Breezango?
Wasn't on my Hulu, so I'm going to copy urination while you guys hash it out.
Jason, what did you think about MSK versus Breezango?
Honestly, the match itself was good as usual. Breezango just bringing it as a great tag team, but then I tripped off at the end of the match.
The handshake?
No, the lack of, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Breezango didn't seem happy with each other. More so Fandango against Tyler Breeze, so to speak.
Sure.
That's what I kind of took away from it. So now, it's planting seeds for a possible heel turn for Fandango moving forward, which would kind of suck because Breezango, I like them as a tag team. I think they bring depth to the division itself. But like I said, that's the one thing I was like, is this going to happen right now? No, it's not going to happen right now, is it? So, I wouldn't be surprised to see more, unfortunately, Breezango losing to see the eventual heel turn for Fandango, yo boy, over Tyler Breeze.
He is my boy. What it really made me think watching that match was they just get completely underused. I mean, Tyler Breeze and Fandango, I'm not going to call him Fandango, although I respect that you give him that respect. But they just completely underused them. They could have been used for so much more.
Tyler Breeze, we already kind of talked about, especially going back watching the NXT do-overs. He should have been a champion at some point, the champion. Fandango, I mean, where do you want him to go? I mean, I'll take this back.
NXT
No. I'll take this back. When he got there, that was the only title, that was the only singles title that could be had.
Right.
He had to be the world champion. Okay?
I don't know why he's not in the mix for the North American Championship.
You stole my thunder. This could be a move for him to separate him from Tyler Breeze and then give Bronson Reed, who I would suspect would win the North. I said suspect. There is fuckery to be had, so let's not just chalk it up. We're not even, put it in pen. Let's get that pencil out and make sure we write this name. But if Bronson Reed wins and Fandango flips, now you got a Fandango Bronson Reed possible NXT title match or NXT North American title match.
I would love that. Zach, who would you rather see more in a singles to get pushed as a single star, Tyler Breeze or Fandango?
Ooh, this is tough because work rate guy, I would go Tyler Breeze, but as a guy that I want to see every night, right? So, say we're on house show circuits, say there's 5 shows a week, Fandango's your guy because, he is just every night.
He's got it.
He's just got it, and he is just so fucking entertaining. He doesn't necessarily – he's a great worker, but he doesn't necessarily have to be because he's just got that extra charisma. And, you plunk Fandango into a fucking house show if they go back on these circuits, and I mean, he's your biggest pop of the night probably every night.
Yeah, they could start playing his song again. Everybody would still start doing the thing.
Fans are coming back. I mean,
yeah.
So I wouldn't be too surprised to see that happen in some form or fashion.
But MSK went over. MSK
is MSK. I mean,
they're fun.
Yeah.
I like the handshake at the end.
I didn't have a problem with it. Honestly, and that's just me. I guess that's me watching a bunch of Ring of Honor or whatever the case may be. I don't have a problem with that. It was cool, but like I said, it kind of distracted a little bit from the fact that Fandango was none too happy with Tyler Breeze in the loss.
I said I wasn't going to do any fireballs, and then Vice shows up with some.
Yeah, I mean,
and I got to accept it from him.
Yeah, that's what we're not letting him on the mic though. Sorry, Vice.
I got to say, I'm a little bit mad at him because usually, like, I'm the guy with like the big beautiful family, and this motherfucker's got 2 more kids than I do, and they're all fucking beautiful.
Yeah, he's
like,
got
Jesus
more kids.
Fucking Christ.
Speaking of Jesus fucking Christ,
hold on. Oh my God. We had Leon Ruff versus Pete Dunne, and let me just take this opportunity to remind everybody that I was right about Leon Ruff.
Stop it. Go ahead. I'll let you finish. Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Well, both of you guys said that them putting the North American title on him was just kind of being funny, and it wasn't really going to make him. But the guy
wasn't what made him. What made him was last week's performance against Swerve.
Well, I think he's been made the entire time ever since then because the guy performs. And
I'll still disagree with you because that fucking title situation was, as Jason would say, hot garbage.
I hate being wrong, too. But the Leon Ruff-Pete Dunne match was actually a ton of fun. Talk about a clash of styles and 2 styles that really work together, though.
I like the fact that it was Leon Ruff because you knew he was going to come out. And then when Pete Dunne's coming out, I'm like, they ain't going to throw this boy out there to Pete Dunne, are they? And next thing you know, he jumps Pete Dunne from behind, non-babyface moves.
Yeah,
so
but he's pissed off.
Okay, so
but
it's not
his
just
motivations make sense, though.
I'm just saying it's not just Karrion Kross. It's a bunch of guys that aren't being total baby faces or total heels.
It has to be intentional, and I can't think that it's negligence, right? Because if I think it's negligence, then I'm so down.
It's intentional. I just don't think that it's as bad as we think it is. In that scenario, I agree with you. Leon Ruff doesn't have a chance if he walked down that ramp and faced Pete Dunne head up like a true baby face and try to win the match like that. He wanted the
kayfabe style.
Kayfabe style. Yes, I am. He did it the way that he probably felt he could have won the match this way. I got to jump this fool from behind, catch him when he's not looking, maybe get a quick pin and get the fuck up out of here and prove Regal wrong.
Yeah, he was also pissed off at Regal,
Very much so.
Which, I mean, it's kind of annoying because I just talked about how good of an authority figure he is, and then like, oh, well, it was an open challenge, so I can't do anything. It just totally, like...
Look, no.
It's also pro wrestling.
Okay.
It is, but it's
if
pro
you
wrestling, so you can do whatever the fuck you want.
And if you want to put your hand in front of the rabid dog and act like your hand ain't going to get bit, that's on you, okay? Leon Ruff knew what he was doing when he climbed that, while that dog's barking in the distance. Leon Ruff knew what he was doing when he was climbing in that ring. He got worked. Well, I shouldn't even say he got worked over. It was a much better match than I thought it was going to be. And then at the end, when Pete Dunne snapped his fingers, that was the best part because it was basically like, okay, motherfucker, this is what you really get for not listening to William Regal. Bye, Al.
I love the part where Pete Dunne, or where Ruff bounces on the ropes and then squirts between his legs, and Pete Dunne's like so mad at him. I love that shit.
I love that you said squirts between his legs.
I was like, what is the word I should use here? I'm just going with squirts.
I'll just say this. If we did this and then this ended with a Leon Ruff North American Championship, then it makes more sense. You kind of did it ass backwards. That's all I'm saying. I did not say that Leon Ruff was not a talent. I didn't say he wasn't a good babyface. I said they booked it ass backwards.
Yeah, I'm same. And I think Pete Dunne is a legitimate contender for Karrion Kross behind Finn Balor because, honestly, I don't, even though that's a big match, in a couple weeks, I don't think Finn Balor's taking it back because he's had it. So when you think of it like a smart, it's a good match, but it's not believable in the sense that he's going to take it.
It's something on Karrion Kross's list of guys that he beat as champion. Finn Balor, check.
Yeah. But like Pete Dunne, now we've seen him carry a brand,
right?
And we've seen him being the longest reigning champion before the last longest reigning champion,
right?
And he did a great job at it. And Pete Dunne can go up against anybody. I remember seeing him on like not a Talking Smack, but it was like an intro to one of those pay-per-views, and they just had him on with like Sam Roberts and those guys, and the other bald-headed dude that I can't stand,
Rosenberg.
Yeah, Rosenberg, and he was just like,
he
was like, he's like, give me anybody. He's like, give me Brock Lesnar, and they all fucking freaked out. They're like, oh ho ho, and I'm like, no, I really want to
let's do
that
shit. I'm like, yes, let's do that, please and thank you. Goddamn. I would be all aboard of that.
Brock Lesnar would sell the fuck out of Pete Dunne.
He totally would because he loves working with those smaller guys.
Yeah, he does.
But I think
Pete
that
Dunne
match is believable because Pete Dunne, I could see him taking the title. I could see them running with Pete Dunne.
Oh, sure.
Pete Dunne will definitely hold the NXT Heavyweight Championship someday. I don't think there's any doubt. Mercedes Martinez versus Raquel Gonzalez. Raquel Gonzalez goes over. I guess my only problem with this is that they kind of sped through this feud. Like, Mercedes Martinez is a really good wrestler that can wrestle all sorts of different styles, that can wrestle as a babyface or a heel, and could have really put her over a lot stronger, I thought. And it seems like they kind of rushed through the feud. What do you think, Zach?
I did like the face-to-face last week. It was like UFC-esque, and I enjoyed that. But I didn't enjoy the match as much as I thought I was going to. And I don't know what the deal was, but I don't know if it's Raquel being a little green or what.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, it just wasn't as enjoyable. And also, she's not a believable contender, right? Like, going back to it, I didn't think that Mercedes Martinez was going to take this title.
But there are great matches where you know who's going over, but at least the near falls have you. And it's tough to do that in 11 minutes, too.
Yeah, totally.
Jason, what you think?
You guys both kind of stole my thunder on two different parts. You said it, Bill, where we've seen plenty of matches where we kind of knew who was going to win, but we still saw a really good-ass match.
The best isn't doing that is Daniel Bryan.
Okay.
Daniel Bryan you'll always be like,
yeah.
oh, fuck.
Next thing you know, it's like, this shit's happening? So, yeah, I totally agree with that. But I agree with TBZ on the fact that Raquel is green. And we've pushed her to the top of this division where you've got plenty of names behind her that could, not saying that they could do a better job.
I think she would call it Verde.
Okay. Shit. I was going to say there's plenty of women behind her that could be more of a quote-unquote credible champion, okay? This is a lot for Raquel Gonzalez to kind of put on her massive shoulders and her massive back like she likes to show off in her pre-match entrance or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, if you're going to put her with this title, then she's going to have to step her game up a little bit and not have flashes of her being green.
Kind of begs the question, wouldn't it have made more sense to have Mercedes Martinez being the heel champ with babyface Raquel Gonzalez chasing? But,
that ship sailed when they put her with Retribution. When she went to Retribution, if she just stayed in NXT, they'd have had the Robert Stone brand going. That'd have been a little bit of a funny scenario where she could have been the dominant figure in the Robert Stone brand with comedy around it, and then you could have built her up. Instead, they went with Retribution. That shit went south. She was the first to leave, mind you. And then they brought her back to NXT, and now you got to start from square one all over again.
Jason, question. Swerve and Hit Row. Do you like it?
I like factions. That's on record. I guess not the AJ Francis character, but the other guy, he's on 205 Live, so I don't know exactly what we're walking into with that guy. Adonis.
Ashanti.
Okay. Not sure what we're walking into with that guy.
That's a weird name for a guy if you're my age, because I remember Ashanti
as the R&B singer. Yeah,
she ran around with Ja Rule, right?
Sounds right. Yeah.
I like to let her hit those high notes.
Look at you.
Let me hit it in the morning.
I have to say, Even from a distance or close up, he's the same old
Top
Zach.
dollar,
God bless
dollar.
him. I like the fact that they got the woman involved in the faction. I want to see where this goes, but it wasn't the best intro to it because it just kind of seemed a little.
I gotta say, Top Dollar has
wonky?
bars. Like,
Stop.
That was pretty good.
Don't give that man that much credit.
he was just as good as what's the guy in the Acclaim?
I thought about it. They both suck.
No, you didn't. Look, you're gonna tell me Top Dollar is better than Max
No,
Caster.
I'm not saying that he's
Okay.
better.
No, I'm
just
saying
that
rap to rap.
I liked his bars on the promo.
Stop,
I
dude.
actually thought it
Matt
was.
Caster is Comedy Central.
Oh yeah, but it was Comedy Central, but he came across as like more of like a badass, right? And he's the heavy, and he was the highlight of that group for me. As
Fair.
far as like standouts,
Fair.
he stood out even more than Swerve to me.
I don't think Swerve was supposed to stand out. You know who Swerve is. It
Yeah, he was
more about
introducing everybody
the crew.
else, totally. But I am interested to see where it goes.
For sure.
Same way Jason is like, I like factions, and I think NXT doesn't have enough, whereas AEW has too many.
15 too many.
Yeah.
I like their name. Like, I'm interested to see
I
where
do
it goes.
like it because it's kind of like a little play on Death Row.
Right.
Yeah,
You know,
it feels
hit-
like it's
hit row.
a record album, but it's a faction in this scenario. So, yeah.
And Swerve's got his music shit that, like, if you aren't familiar, like, Swerve does, like, music production and stuff. And
So,
it
yeah,
fits his
ultimately,
character.
I think it all works itself out. It's just, I wanted to
Does
to
he
me,
have GarageBand uploaded also?
Well, I think anybody that is bougie enough to buy a Mac has GarageBand.
Oh, this is Jason's. This is Jason's. I want to save Cameron Grimes for last. So we have Kyle O'Reilly fought Oni Lorcan. Oni Lorcan is the man.
Just give him more time. 'Cause,
I
I
know.
mean, like,
He-
whenever I saw this match come up, I was like, oh, this is going to be
Ooh, yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
And then
give-
it was like 5 minutes.
Yeah, but even 6 minutes of Oni Lorcan is still pretty good.
yeah.
it was
I love
good.
him.
He's great.
It was more about bringing back Bobby Fish, obviously. Hopefully he can stay healthy.
Dude,
And
that,
where is Bobby Fish going to fall into the Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole scenario? Roderick Strong's MIA, so now Bobby Fish is back. To me, I wasn't even worried about the match. The match was cool. It's good to see Oni Lorcan because I think he's just, a natural badass in the ring. But when they brought back Bobby Fish, that to me was the more interesting scenario than the match itself.
I did like that aspect, and it's good to see Bobby Fish back. The way that they handled it, though, where, like, they're yelling at each other in the ring, and he's like, hey,
Right.
it's good to see you back. And he's
Right.
like, it's good to be back. Like,
Yeah, we need some mics up here, Stat.
yeah,
That's what
fucking
it's.
Mike.
It's like they're caught between not having a crowd and having a crowd, and like they want to do a thing where they would, like in the old days, they would both have mics.
Yeah.
And they would say it to each other, but now they don't have a crowd. But yes, I thought the same thing. They were yelling it to each other. It's like, that's not the way these two guys would talk to each other. And I watch wrestling for realism.
Yeah, and if you don't necessarily have to be a tag team to, like, be together, right? Like, yeah, it's cool that you aren't a tag team.
We can
but,
still be
like,
buds.
Yeah, we can still be
Yeah,
bros.
if I say, I got my thing going on, I got,
I mean,
the goddamn Phantasma. I
Joey
want a
quit
piece
the
of them.
podcast. I was still happy to see him the other day.
Cold blooded.
The last thing is Cameron Grimes at the auction with Ted
Jesus.
DiBiase. Was this on your Hulu?
Oh, dude, it was my favorite part of the whole show.
God bless America.
Damn. Bo's over here celebrating. It was so funny, man. It was so, they set it up perfect, and it's Ted DiBiase behind the auction thing, but even the reveal, god damn, it's so perfect.
I have no idea where this is leading, and I don't care. It's still the most entertaining thing on the fucking show.
You stole my thunder where you
There's
said
no,
I
there's
don't
no,
care where it goes.
there's no wrestling, and it's so pro wrestling.
Now, if you want to say that I want to eat words on this, I'll eat my words on this because a few weeks ago, I was not about this. Now I am on board, conductor. I need money up front. We are on this train. I don't give a fuck where this goes. This shit was comedy fucking
Did they ever-
central.
Real quick, did they ever explain where Cameron Grimes got his money? Or
It
did
was
he-
like a
Yeah, Bitcoin, Dogecoin, like
That's even better. I
it was
don't
like,
remember that.
He got it from GameStop, right?
Right,
'Cause
yeah, with
that's
GameStop,
Oh,
all-
that's
yeah.
right. It was GameStop.
So if you're like, if you follow that stuff, like on Reddit and stuff, the whole thing is like to the moon, right? They put like rockets and like explosion signs and like this stock's going to the moon. So then you have Cameron Grimes to the moon.
Is that where he got it from?
That's where he got it from. And
So
it is
it's
so perfect.
It's even worse because Cameron Grimes has, in theory, in kayfabe style, he's got money to, in theory, outbid anybody that's basically there.
Who spends $20 million on a house?
And I was like, I'm like, don't tell me this is happening again. God bless this motherfucker. Ted DiBiase, to me, is going to be one of those guys you could always plug in at every point and just have that quick
Well, he's
pop.
still got the laugh.
Right, and that's what makes it more funny. And then on top of it, like I said, this storyline, I don't give a fuck where it goes. I don't care when it ends. Just keep this shit going. You can throw Cameron Grimes in the ring, but every now and then have Ted DiBiase kind of like needling his ass.
They obviously like Cameron Grimes, too, because he gets a ton of screen time, even when he's not wrestling. And when he does wrestle, he gets a lot of offense and doesn't really lose a lot of big matches. And when he fights big guys, he always lasts long.
No, this is going to say there's no Cameron Grimes squash matches, for sure.
Let's get to that 2 count.
1, 2, 3.
2 beer. What's the 2 count?
2 count is AEW Dynamite. I was really looking forward to this show. Shocker. But this was a stacked card, right? Like, even if you're, like, not an AEW fanboy, this was a stacked card.
I stayed away from spoilers, and then when I turned it on today around 10 a.m., and they showed everything that was coming up, I was like, God damn, this is a fucking big card.
Yeah, it was. It was a big-ass card.
So we
all
started
bullshit
out,
aside.
I marked out because we started out with John Moxley and Yuji Nagata. I'm a big Nagata fan, and he looked great for 53 years old. They wrestled a New Japan-style match. A little bit short, maybe. Like, you know, as always for these kind of matches, you know, they could always go longer. But John Moxley comes out to Wild Thing, so by the Togs, and, you know.
Trogs. I was in high school when it happened.
Yeah.
You don't remember?
Nope. Toads. Anyway, he comes out to the Wild Thing, and I thought that was cool that Tony Khan's spending money because, you know, we had it with, you know, as much reservations about Bill has about Orange Cassidy having Pixies, Where's My Mind, and not something else. But it's still cool to have real songs. I think that's a cool thing, and I think it's a very boutique thing for a billionaire to spend his money on, right? He's not a money mark, obviously, because he's smarter in this business than a lot of people, but he's got that money, and he's like, you know what? It's kind of like whenever I decide, you know what, I made $300 last night. I'm getting a pizza. You know? That happened. That was a real thing. I bartended last night. I made $300. I'm like, I'm getting a fucking Domino's.
I'm about to say, Emo's on the way home. Shit, I can't help it.
Tony Khan, he's like, I'm buying the rights to Wild Thing. So I thought it was cool. I love the match. I love the bow of respect between the two of them. Moxley got a little cut up, which was the first, but not the last blood we saw.
Oh shit!
On this show.
Ugh.
Yeah, and So.
Oh, an angel.
Oh God, yeah. So we can get to that. What do you guys think about this match?
I was going to say, I wish being more of a New Japan style match, it was a little longer, but considering that we got the confines of 2 hours. I thought they got the message veiled across that, you know, New Japan is going to bring guys over. It might not be Nagata-style guys, but John Moxley's title is up for grabs at some point. Kenta first, Nagata second. You know, who's next third? We don't know. Wild Thing, I'm just on the flip side of it. I'm not a huge fan of it. I love the fact that TK is spinning the loot to get guys their signature entrance music.
Did you see on Twitter everybody saying the entrance music they want? Like all these AEW wrestlers are saying like, "Hey, I would love to come out to this."
Okay, look, and I ain't mad at, but that's, I guess,
mine
for
would
me
be
personally.
Cowboys from Hell. Just personally, Cowboys from Hell.
Shit, ooh,
Kick in the Door by Biggie Smalls.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Lump, bump, bump, bump. Went for 10 G's for blow to 30 G's a show to OGs with hoes I never seen before. So, Jesus, get off the notorious.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
Vice is sitting right here. Me and Vice used to bump that
just
song
for
all the time.
DMX would have to be something for mine because I'm always angry, and DMX feels like
Actually,
that.
What's his name from Private Party said he wants to come out to party up in here.
See, there you go. Okay, that was like old school wrestling back in the day when, like Legion of Doom came out to Iron Man, and you could come out
Freebird came out to
Freebird, and you can have these. So in that scenario, I love it. Just
Tuesday's Gone came out to Tuesday's Gone.
Me personally, I like the old Moxley music. That's just me. It's just that's
you mean
music.
The one that goes.
Yeah.
Well, he's not coming out the Wild Thing from here on out, is he?
No, they bought the rights. Like
my guess is because it would have to be similar to Orange Cassidy. So
that's weird.
Yeah, so that's
if he
why
comes out the Wild Thing from here on out. I think Wild Thing, I want to see Ricky Vaughn coming out from the bullpen and getting ready to come out and strike motherfuckers out.
Well, you know that's part of the inspiration for sure.
I'm sure.
The match was cool.
The match was good. The match was good.
I enjoyed the match. My first thought was after watching the match, because listen, the guy is old and the guy doesn't move around as well as he used to. My whole thought was, man, AEW must feel really confident in their ratings if they can open up a match, if they can open up an AEW Dynamite, their signature show, with Moxley versus a 53-year-old guy from Japan that nobody's ever seen.
I'd feel confident opening a show with Moxley. I think that's the main thing.
Moxley won, but then you would have guys like the New Japan guys, the hardcore base, that's going to come
Romero
over
in the crowd.
Right. I was going to say
they did make a point to show Rocky Romero. Now, if we start getting some younger NJPW guys,
I'd even take Suzuki. I don't even care about younger guys.
Okay, but then
there's older guys, Suzuki, Tanahashi.
Okay,
like older guys
here, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit.
I know that Tanahashi's older. Sorry, Jason. Yeah. I know that Tanahashi's older, but he's
just so beautiful.
He's very beautiful. He's also still very, very relevant, though, and he's lost a step off he's lost a couple miles per hour off his fastball, but the guy. Still better than most people out there.
Totally. He's the best seller.
He's not Yuji Nagata.
Right, yeah, I mean, Yuji Nagata is part of that guard, but they did a great job on commentary saying, this guy helped train Okada. Well,
he's probably 10 years older than Tanahashi, right?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah. Okay.
And trained Tanahashi. And like you said, they did a good job with that.
I was cool with it.
No, I just think that right now, with things that are going on in Japan, what we want to happen, especially from the New Japan roster, just probably ain't going to happen for a while.
It's tough because, and we'll get to that, but Japan did such a great job at the beginning of this pandemic, and they were kind of outshining us and be like, oh, this is actually how you do it. It's kind of like a society, right? Because they were already a society that would wear masks whenever it was flu season, and if you had colds, you would wear a mask and stuff like that. But then they're also a society that is not really too hot on vaccinations. So I think I saw a statistic where it's only a few % of the entire population has actually been vaccinated, which is interesting to be so gung-ho about prevention, but then at the same time not vaccinate, and it's going to fuck them in the Olympics. If the Olympics can't go this year, then
I totally forgot about that.
We're looking at 2024, because they're postponing it a year for now.
Right.
And if they can't go now, they're just going to fucking skip it, and that sucks for a lot of these athletes that, those Olympic athletes don't make money. They just train, and they live their lives in the gym.
Sponsorships, the whole shebang.
Exactly. So it will be interesting to see how all that plays out, but as far as the professional wrestling side of it, I mean, we don't get any New Japan for a month? Everybody's off for a month, which is good for the roster because the way those guys work, they need some time off.
Some of those guys, Okada was kind of gimping around down the stretch. It would be
Ospreay could use some time off, I'm
too.
Sure.
But I guess back to the point that he was trying to make, if you're the casual, I wouldn't even say casual because he's not casual in this scenario. Nagata's not the flashy name that you want to see.
Yeah,
but I'm glad that they got the IWGP US title on TV.
That's a milestone.
And
if you watch Strong, the Strong show was almost like a go-home show for Dynamite.
Yep.
Because they had filmed this tag match months ago where, Moxley and Nagata faced off in a tag match, which is very, reminiscent of a New Japan style of build-up, and like the go-home show for Dynamite was New Japan Strong last Friday, and I think
it really was.
that level of cooperation is very promising.
No, it shows that at least on that scenario, you have, like you said, cooperation where you got at least an open door going. I know this is going to be a ways down the line. I want to see what happens when you get a scenario where, kind of like you had with Impact and AEW, where you have a title versus title kind of scenario. Even if it's a mid-card title versus title, that's going to probably happen at some point too. Somebody's going to have to give, and that's where
the politics come into play.
Right, and I'm curious to see who's giving. In this scenario,
well, with Moxley is the biggest. He is the biggest star that they could currently have holding that U.S.
without
title.
question.
He was the number one PWI wrestler. He was the greatest wrestler of last year. Like, we all unanimously said Jon Moxley.
Yeah,
so
and it wasn't even a thought.
No, absolutely not.
You had one or two choices, and for me, if you gave me the choice right now between one of those two guys, it was Moxley real quick.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a thought process.
So you got them riding that wave, and I think that helps, like them having that level of talent.
All I ask from this point now is that we've seen a title defense, even if it's an AEW guy or an Impact guy. Every now and then, throw me another bone and just remind us that this title exists. This, it can be had at any point. Miro didn't talk about, everybody with titles in the back. That should have been one of those titles he should have been talking about too, but we can get to that in a second.
And if we see it from a global perspective, if we get to a point as a country where we are better off than Japan because of the vaccination,
yeah, right.
It just currently
we're better off than Japan.
Yeah, currently, with the CDC regulation saying that
it's a marathon, it ain't a sprint.
Yeah,
they're about to shut down the Olympics.
Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
But all I'm saying is we could get to a point where we're in a better situation as a country than Japan with this pandemic because of their lack of vaccinations. So it is not so outrageous for those guys for them, New Japan, especially because they can't run right now, and maybe that happens again for them to send guys to America because it's not hard to get them back. They just got to be there for 2 weeks or whatever. So, like, they send them to the LA Dojo, and they get them on Strong for their own brand, and then they get them on national TV because they don't currently have a national TV product. So it behooves New Japan to get them on American television, to add New Japan subscribers, to get people interested in the brand because they are very much driven in the old school way of wrestling where you have to draw fans to an arena to get to buy merch. And if they ain't got fucking fans in arenas buying merch, they need other revenues for money. So getting, a partnership with AEW could be advantageous in a way for us that's great, and for them it makes business sense.
Okay, what was next on AEW?
I think it was the tag team match. If it wasn't exactly
it was the Kodi promo.
Oh, the Kodi promo was next. So I actually tweeted about this promo, and
you need to be on our
yeah, I need to add Vice
to our
little group
thread.
Text.
Hey, listen, I'll drive the train. All you got to do is lay down the tracks.
But Kodi comes out, and even though I wasn't like a super fan of the content of the promo, because I think it was a little jingoistic, and it kind of did the whole thing, of America versus the other guy, which doesn't. It's a little dated to me, but his delivery is so impeccable, and the emotions that he gives, like the emotions that he allows himself to have and that drives his promos that allow for the emotions for the viewers, I just thought it was one of the greatest white meat baby face promos I've seen in a long time, and that's how I feel about Kodi every time he comes out and does one of these big promos. But this was very much Cody Rhodes being Dusty Rhodes. This was Kodi coming out and saying, I'm going to do a Hard Times promo. I'm going to do a classic all-time dad promo, and then I'm going to call myself the American Dream. And by God, he fucking did it. And I tweeted, my tweet was, for fuck's sake, Cody Rhodes is just goddamn great at what he does. He was the second person to like it. And then Bill jumped on the train and talked about...
I drafted off of you.
Yeah, he drafted off me.
Days of Thunder over here.
He saw it this morning, and he's like, yeah, I just saw this.
Here's the thing. I thought about when I saw the promo today, I wanted to respond to your tweet because that was the first thing I saw this morning when I woke up was your text being like, "Oh, he liked it," and then and Murray responding to it, and then when I saw it, what you were talking about, I was like, "Oh yeah, that really was a great promo," and I thought about responding to it and taking him off it, but I thought it would be funny if I left him on it and tried to draft off you, and then he really did like it.
He really did.
Like less than
it was less than 5 minutes later.
The guy's out there just searching his own name. The guy's out there just looking at all of his notifications.
It probably helped that I think both of us have as a picture of us with Cody Rhodes.
No, I took mine off. I'm not some fucking mark.
My cover photo is the three of us with Cody Rhodes in Belleville, Illinois.
Right.
So he probably just remembered us.
I forget.
So cool.
I forget what my
the
pictures.
BFR guys.
That was our first. That was our first foray into.
Dude, I was totally thinking about that.
That was our first event we ever went to, and it was a fucking great event.
Yeah, I was totally thinking about that on the way out here. That's why I was saying Vice needs to be on our text thread. The promo, I agree with Tubier on this one. If Cody is really going to be like a political figure or whatever the case may be, he can fucking bring it every goddamn time. Do I like the content? No, not so much, because it felt like this was 80s WWE Hulk Hogan versus, fill in the blank, villain of choice that was from a foreign country. That said, I really like the promo. When he teared up about his daughter, this is a guy that doesn't have kids. I felt that. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I was just like, okay, I don't necessarily like what he's saying per se. And I was seeing guys from, England that was kind of like, you can show patriotism but not show it like that. That's where I can see both sides of the coin. I like the promo itself. Cody delivers another great promo, but the content itself.
If you're a cynic, you see a very good-looking white man from the South aspiring to political aspirations. If you're a cynic, right?
If you're a cynic.
And I'm not saying that he is, but Cody Rhodes has unlimited potential, not just even in the wrestling business. Cody Rhodes has unlimited potential.
Without question. We're getting ready to see their reality show come up here in a little bit. So, I mean, a lot of this...
He's going to be a mainstream star eventually.
And it's going to bring eyes to AEW ultimately. It felt like this was the 80s WWE, us versus England. I don't know. Like I said, I like the Cody's passion. I wasn't a huge fan of the promo content.
The promo content didn't bother me at all. I kind of winced when he started it, but that's kind of why you read the article after the headline, right? Like, I winced when he started it, but then he kind of talked about, he talked about a Pakistani guy. I don't know what the fuck he was talking about. I think he was talking about something NASCAR.
It was something related to Jacksonville, Florida. It was like...
I think it was related to some Pakistani guy doing something with bumpers for NASCAR.
He invented some kind of bumpers. But I think it's very
regional.
Regional, yes.
Yeah. I didn't know what he was talking about. I did see that...
It was kind of like he said a black man invented peanut butter, and everybody's like, yeah, peanut butter rules.
I did.
Peanut butter is the shit.
I don't know if you guys know who Kaz is. Kaz.
Big Kaz?
Fuck. He does a lot of New York Knicks stuff. He does a lot of wrestling stuff. Anyway, I saw that he tweeted something about, he's a black guy. And he said that, it doesn't really bother him so much when people bring personal stuff into wrestling, but he did not he flinched at Cody bringing his unborn daughter into it, saying that she was going to have two identities.
That was my favorite part.
I thought,
that's the truth.
I don't know. As a white guy, I'm not going to say that Kaz doesn't have every right to his opinion. I thought that was kind of beautiful.
Maybe they're just jealous because Brady's so hot.
Maybe he's just jealous.
She's so hot, man.
I mean, come on, man.
She's
so
hot. One of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, smoking.
Exactly what you would expect Cody Rhodes,
this motherfucker, you know, great. Oh, you got all these other shit going on, and you got this on top of the cake. Here's Brandon Rose.
It was one of those promos that if you like, he really started from just like talking at a normal tone, and then it kind of built up, and then over 8 minutes or so, it built into a crescendo. And when he said, and you knew he was going to say, "I'll be Kodi the American Dream," you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
What an incredible, I mean, that's an incredible professional wrestling promo.
I mean, it's currently on my list of promo of the year. I know we're only in May.
He like you said,
it was unbelievable,
he
though.
built it up to the point where, like you said, you knew where the end was, but it was like a great,
it's still fucking
great
ruled.
match that you know the predictable ending. It got us there, and you still enjoyed the ride. I see nothing wrong with that. The promo content I didn't necessarily.
I want to see Anthony Ogogo's response, because Anthony Ogogo is the star of that faction, and he has done a great.
Is he?
Clearly, if he's fighting Cody Rhodes,
well, totally. To me,
they wouldn't put him against Cody Rhodes unless he was the guy they were going to push.
I feel like he comes across as a big star. I think the way that he carries himself and the way that they have presented him with that left hook, they've made him a monster. But
bigger
also,
star than Quick Trip Marshall.
Yeah, you know what? He come out here to the county, we'll burn him down.
You been holding that in the holster for a while, huh?
I just thought of it.
No, but you know, QT's underrated. He's a great worker and an even better trainer. But Anthony Ogogo comes across as a star, and this is will be a star-making performance, I think, because Cody has a history of.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
Will Cody put him over as his first match as the American Dream, Cody Rhodes?
I don't know. I think it's possible.
Hell no.
Seems pretty unbelievable.
Hell no. His daddy roll over the grave.
No, I think Cody has a history of putting dudes over.
I don't think that Dusty rolls over in the grave for anything
like,
pro wrestling.
I listened to an interview with Tony Khan.
I think Dusty saw CM Punk drinking Paul Bearer's ashes and was like, "Oh, that's a good angle." Oh, that's a good angle.
He probably should have snorted him.
That's a real good angle.
No, I listened to an interview with Tony Khan, and whenever Darby Allin joined AEW, Cody was like the guy, like to get Cody or to get Darby in, and he was like, "I want to bring this guy in. I want to put him over." And
was
like,
it
Tony,
Make-A-Wish?
And Tony's like,
"See, you
Tony,
ain't shit."
Tony was like, "Pump the brakes, right?"
Shit.
And I feel like Cody is the guy that wants to put guys over because he did this whole angle where he can't challenge for the title ever again. You know, just
maybe
to get MJF over.
Maybe this is a big. I don't think that's if MJF becomes the champion, then let's talk. Okay, maybe this is a big Omos scenario where we don't know what Anthony Ogogo has until he gets into the ring.
Yeah, but
I don't think he's going to beat Cody Rhodes.
I don't know. I don't know what he has.
Yeah, nobody does.
As far as a worker, because he's only had a few matches, but I do know that he has star power.
Well, that's
fair.
There's still tons of stuff to talk about.
Yeah,
from
so we can
AEW.
get the tag team match. Is that next?
Yeah, it's SEU versus Young Bucks.
All right, so
I have lots of thoughts.
Phenomenal match. I mean, everybody's going to want to talk about Daniels gigging and just being so bloody. And I think it did add to the match, even though we just had blood and guts last week. And
I loved it when Nick Jackson saw him bleed and goes, "Oh shit!"
Bleeding on the Jordans, and even when he botched the moonsault, you could believe that he slipped on his own blood,
right? Or like the leg was hurt.
Well,
yeah.
the announcers put it over.
Yeah, totally. But I mean, this was a phenomenal match. Kazarian came out of the gate hot, like just beating the fuck out of these guys. And I love this match. And, you know, I think one thing that you'll want to talk about, which I'll just let you talk about because you probably watched it live and I didn't. I only watched it after the fact, was the retirement of Ric Flair with Shawn Michaels, where Matt Jackson, who had the beaded bandana, which is such a fucking heel fucking thing.
God,
these guys are so much better.
I hate
heels.
it, but I love it, yeah.
They're so much better heels than they are baby faces because they are not likable dudes, right? Like, I'm sure they're fine people, like, but they're so much better as heels. And when he did the "I'm sorry, I love you," and he did it so over the top, like, it was just a caricature of, like, what actually happened. That was phenomenal. But the only thing that I will say critically about this match was it needed more after because this was such a poignant situation.
Yes.
We had Frankie
I
Kazarian
I
and
agree
Chris
with that
Daniels.
1,000%.
Yeah, and they can't be around anymore. And we all knew that this was Christopher Daniels' swan song. That's probably why he gigs so fucking hard. But he's talent relations. He's got his own fucking job and stuff. And he's 48 or something. He can't keep up with these guys.
Shit.
He laid the groundwork for a lot of these guys. But I would have liked to have seen a little more after the fact. But as far as the match goes, it was phenomenal.
All right, because you addressed me, this is like a national debate. Because you addressed me, I get 30 seconds to respond back, right? Okay.
Start the clock.
I want to give a shout-out to @HighFiveTom on Twitter because he was the one that told me if it helps when it comes to the Young Bucks, Matt has mutton chops. That's how I remember Matt and Mutton Chop both start with M. So, that did help me, High Five Tom. Thank you very much because
Jesus
mnemonic
Christ.
devices. That's one of my biggest points.
It's two white
starts
guys.
with
White
an
guys.
M.
Come on, man. You can't tell the
Once
white
it
guys
doesn't
apart.
sound like it. It's silent.
So when the Shawn Michaels when he did the Shawn Michaels thing, I laughed. I thought it was funny when Christopher Daniels was on his knees and Matt Jackson did the whole thing. I'm sorry, I love you, and then super kicked him.
It was more like, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I love you.
He really did it, and
Totally.
I laughed.
Totally.
But this is one of my, and I tweeted this. I don't think that you
I gotta
saw
say,
it.
Shawn Michaels would have laughed.
Oh, I think he would have laughed. I think Ric Flair probably would have.
Ric Flair would have been fucking off his chair.
He'd have just like,
Been
I'm ripping off the
martinis
clothes, the
deep, and he'd
pants.
fucking fall over. He'd have elbow dropped his jacket.
I'll show you. I'm sorry. Elbow in the fucking middle of the ring. Nobody's there, Rick.
I think-
Nobody. 10 minutes later, you come back from break. Ric Flair's still elbow in the ring.
Jay Lethal's over there.
I think Ric Flair would have drooled and tried to program his VCR a little bit more after that. But
he's like, Charlotte, text me that video.
But I
said
think
text me that video.
I think
That's
that it
good.
did kind of underscore the thing that prevents me from loving the Young Bucks is that it does kind of seem like cosplay to me.
They're very fourth wall, and
Well,
they're 100%. That's been their
Remember that
act.
match against against FTR that wasn't against FTR
Yeah,
where
it was a
went
callback. They had 5 separate finishing moves from classic tag teams: Heart Attack, DIY, all that shit.
Yeah, that wasn't my bag either. Like, it does seem like they are guys that are just kind of playing professional wrestlers. They might be doing it. It's like the last 3 seasons of Game of Thrones after the novels ran out. It just kind of seemed like fan fiction. It's you guys don't know.
That's a bad comparison because that's the worst seasons of television in history for the best source material, and you have the best tag team in history.
You think the Young Bucks are the best tag team in history?
I think they are. I think
He's heating up.
I think even if you don't agree now, you'll agree in 10 years.
That's like that.
Who better? Who better?
That's like saying Greta Van Fleet is better than Led Zeppelin because I don't. You know what? I can't even answer this right now. You really think they're the
I think so. I think they will go down as the best tag team in history.
better than the Hardy Boys?
Yeah.
Fuck off. Better than Edge and Christian?
Yeah.
Piss.
It's because they're the modern evolution of those guys. I don't think they would exist without those guys.
I understand.
Like, it's like a total example of like anything, like literature, music, movies, anything. Like,
now, I get that him doing the Shawn Michaels thing is a heel move because he was making fun of Shawn Michaels. And obviously, Shawn Michaels is completely beloved, and Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair is a all-time match.
I wouldn't even point to that. I would just point to them being able to market themselves and being able to be in Hot Topic, and those Bullet Club T-shirts were 100% indicative of their marketing ability. And when you would go to shows 5 years ago, everybody was wearing their T-shirts, and then they were able to start their own fucking company that is rivaling WWE, and that is 100% the Young Bucks. That is Matt Jackson with a relationship with Tony Khan, and they started this company. More than Kenny Omega, more than Cody Rhodes.
I'll admit, no snark here. That's hard to argue. I agree with that. The same way that I say that Cody Rhodes will be held in high esteem 20 years from now that's a hard statement to say on May 13th, 2021.
I don't know.
I respect
It's
it,
not
though.
for me.
What you think, Jason?
I mean, so much to unpack. I mean, goddamn. The match itself, I thought was good. I liked the match.
Let me make sure my wife isn't here so I can smoke.
I liked the match in the sense that you had the Bucks and SCU as, not necessarily foils, but, there was enough heat to where once fuckery started to happen, it was still all good. I'm going post-match on this. I agree with what you guys said. I wanted to see more of the SCU reaction post-match.
Absolutely.
Because this was, to me, it was half and half. It was more so about SCU leading up to this point, beating guys on dark elevation. I don't give a fuck on this point. I'll let the ranking shit slide for 30 seconds. So now we've gotten to this point. We've got this team that has won multiple championships on multiple promotions, and now this is the end. I want to see that. Okay, we can wait. We can work with the Bucks and all this other bullshit on the back end after the fact, which they end up doing. You shouldn't go to commercial break and then come back and then try to pick up that moment. That moment is right there to be had. They kind of missed the boat on that one. Disappointing on that aspect. I don't have a problem with Matt Jackson kind of trolling the WrestleMania moment because that's what the Bucks are doing. This new version of the Young Bucks are much more trolling, and they're much more in tune to, I guess, social media, what people might like, what people might not like, and they're going to fuck with you about this. I'm with Zach on this one. I love the Bucks. I like the Bucks to begin with. I love them more as heels. They are not the best tag team of all time. I'm sorry. The Legion of Doom might have a little something to say about that, but that's another story for another time. Now, that being said, I don't have a problem with this, and I think we're going to see more of them, in your words.
Legion of Doom 2000?
Hush your mouth. I'll say no. Okay, we're talking WCW, NWA. You hear Iron Man, and you kind of look over him like, oh, shit, we getting ready to get worked. You want to see squash matches? There were squash matches, and the Legion of Doom was part of that. Now, that being said, coming back to this, the Young Bucks doing what you don't like them to do is doing their job. They're not making you like them. For whatever reason, they are one of the top heels in the company. I mean, even more so than Kenny Omega.
They did this shit as baby faces, though. That's the difference, is that they really haven't changed.
They weren't good baby faces.
I can't speak to whether they were good or bad baby faces, but we're talking about
scenario.
intent.
It doesn't matter. In this scenario, it doesn't matter what they're good or bad baby faces. They did it, yes. Which was better? The way they did it as a baby face or the way they did it as a heel?
Well, I laughed at the way they did it as a heel. As a baby face, I was like, these guys are just fucking dorks. These guys are like me in college.
Okay, so it has more
pretending
impact.
to fucking put my brother in the figure 4 leg lock, like, who was much younger than me.
You ain't shit. I was about to say picking on the little brother, but that's just the point. You know what I'm saying? The Bucks have kind of come back, dare I say, full circle. Before the whole AEW thing happened, this is New Japan Bucks. I personally have missed that. Credit to TBZ to getting us all on New Japan because he was the first to watch it. He got us on board, but I missed those episodes where give him the flowers. No, I know you ain't talking.
Hey, it needs a lot more sucking. I've been married for 13 years.
So.
Vice laughed. He knows what I'm about.
So
he's got 5 kids. You don't get 5 kids by getting your dick sucked.
So there was a lot more stuff that happened on this AEW. We got to keep it moving unless you guys want to do a 4-hour podcast, which I would love to do a 4-hour podcast, but nobody wants to listen to us that long.
Quarterback us.
Christian cuts a promo. Matt Sydal comes out. They're both going to be in the Casino Royale Battle Royal at Double or Nothing. I'll just say this as a huge Christian mark. this is not my favorite version of Christian. My favorite version of Christian is not confident, babyface, serious Christian. My favorite version of Christian is funny, chicken shit heel Christian. I love funny Christian. This is not my favorite version of Christian. Jason, what do you think about that?
The champ is Kenny Omega, and to have this chicken shit heel that you're looking for, you need either to have Christian as the champ or him to flip heel. Right now, Kenny Omega is going to need some opponents on the AEW side. Obviously, Impact's going to have their six-man number one contenders match this weekend. So Impact will have their number one contender. But on the AEW side, since we're talking about it, Christian, I think part of the reason Christian was brought here is for Kenny Omega. So as Kenny Omega is set as the heel, and if you want to be traditional about the wrestling thing, here's Christian Cage as the face. It might not be your best version or your favorite, but it makes sense.
Speaking of Kenny Omega, we had Pac versus Orange Cassidy in the number one contenders match. I'm so conditioned to having AEW have, definitive endings as to a winner or a loser, even if there's chicanery or not. Kenny
It's
Omega
called fuckery.
Well, did you know the story behind this at all? The real story?
No.
So Orange Cassidy got hurt. The original plan was to have the three-way, but they were going to go to a 20-minute draw. Orange Cassidy took that super kick, got a little knocked bonkers, then he took the power bomb, and he was out. And so
I saw that on Twitter.
They couldn't continue the match. So the plan was for a 20-minute draw. They're at like 14 minutes when this happens. Then they just think on their feet, and they just fucking send Don Callis and Kenny Omega out there on live TV to fix this, but still make it
make sense.
So make it make sense. So it did come off as like very WWE, but the end result was going to be the same. But yeah, like
that's incredible thinking on their feet. Then
because we didn't see like the best parts of this match, because I'm sure if it was a 20-minute draw, they were saving the last 4 or 5 minutes to be the best shit.
Right.
And otherwise the match is very underwhelming.
Cassidy was actually knocked out.
He was actually hurt.
Ooh, that sucks. Still,
no. We ran.
Does suck. He was knocked out.
No, it doesn't.
Your pro concussion. You guys heard it here
I don't know if
first.
it was
Jason's
concussion
pro
or not.
concussion.
We'll just have to see if it was, but at least they stopped the match.
I think I can speak for
Jason.
myself. Thank you.
We're gonna get aggregated for this.
Yeah, everybody's coming for me. It's good because the fact that we ran down Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara when Matt Hardy was out on his feet, and they let that match go. They learned their lesson. They got in, and God bless them for it. If that is the case, which I won't necessarily say that it ain't the case because I don't know it. I'll give you the fact that you got the Meltzer, connection, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, that was in the audio of the Wrestling Observer news.
Boom.
Yeah.
So in that scenario, if that happened, they learned their mistake from the first time. They corrected it, and that's quick thinking. So you got to give them credit for that. And now, ultimately, we got the match that they were already set to do and booked to do. I'm cool with it. I mean, like I said, ultimately the match was good up to that point. I didn't have a problem with the double the double count out or whatever the case may be. If you throw it out there every now and then, you don't use it as a crutch.
Yep.
It can work.
Yep.
WWE does it too many times to where it's like, oh, it's WWE.
Well, and by the same token, the three-way, because like in this scenario, WWE uses the three-way as a crutch because we say it all the time. Oh, this person's only in the match to get the pin.
Right.
In this case, I don't see that because they've never done a three-way for the title. So,
and it's 50-50. I'm not sure who. I know Kenny Omega wins. I'm not sure who he pins.
Sure. And, I think it's a hot match. It's in front of a full crowd.
Right.
And, I think it's a good move for
it's going to get
selling tickets.
It's going to get Orange Cassidy over more because, like he said before multiple times, Orange Cassidy isn't the same without fans. So this will be the first time he has fans back. You have the natural Pac versus Omega rivalry already built into it, and you can put the title on top of it. I'm not usually a huge fan of triple threats, but this makes sense.
All right, so coming up next, we had Adam Page cuts a promo with the Dark Order standing like a bunch of dorks behind him. So is this where we're at with the Dark Order?
I gotta say yes, but at the same time, John Silver with his fucking just total meathead.
I kind of like John Silver just hanging around Adam Page.
He's the star of the Dark Order.
As like his young boy, pretty much, would be funny to me.
But I did like Adam Page's promo where he's like, hey, come at me like a man. And he's like, and this time it's double or nothing. And John Silver's like, Adam, did you just make that up? That's the name of the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I popped for that.
Yeah, that shit was funny. I will give you that. I'll just say this much.
I real quick,
Go ahead.
did also hate that they came out again at the end of the show.
I like how you're getting out in front of it because you knew I was going to it.
But I also
Get him.
I didn't think it was necessary. You had a guy,
exactly.
You had a guy taking a title that should have been the celebration, and you had 11 motherfuckers that didn't need to be there.
Okay, so that's not even what I hate the most about the show. Now, I liked this episode of AEW Dynamite, but
well, how could you not as a wrestling fan?
It was a very good episode of AEW Dynamite. Pinnacle comes out. They cut their celebratory
Yeah, okay, here you go.
Celebratory promo.
Yep.
Which I like. Let them
do their victory lap.
Jericho's back. They drive out with a bubbly truck, and then they do the Stone Cold beer cannon, the Kurt Angle milk cannon, which I didn't like the Kurt Angle milk cannon at the time either.
Well, no, this is. Go ahead, I'll let you finish.
But now they are cosplaying WWE, which I really didn't like. They said, "How about a little bit of the bubbly?" And then they had. How have they not learned? How has AEW not learned after the exploding barbed wire death match, after the bump that Jericho took last week, which I was okay with in a vacuum, but then they have the champagne cannon, and it's just Sammy Guevara, and it's basically like a hose with you putting your thumb over it just a little bit. Like, all those guys had to keep getting over into the middle of it instead of it being a cannon. What are they doing? Like, I thought this was supposed to be a revolution. What are they doing? Yeah. They're just replaying WWE classic moments.
Start with the AEW apologists. I'm with you on this one.
What's next? Are they going to do This Is Your Life? Kip Sabian or something?
Oh, he has been MIA for a good bit, sans injury, but yes. No, start with the AEW apologists. Explain this.
I mean, I think Bill's accurate. Like, it is replaying. I think it's there to pop a crowd and pop an audience. Like, it's not necessarily the, ideal situation. Like, I did enjoy MJF taking his pratfalls and Wardlow standing in front of him, to try to shield him from the bubbly.
That looked like backyard wrestling, man.
I mean, I think it was just an attempt at, like you said, retro appreciation, right? It's not fresh at all.
No, the opposite.
Yeah, so
it's rotten.
Yeah, it was what it was. It was not my favorite thing on the show either. So I'm not going to sit here and defend it.
Okay, I'm a little surprised that you kissed the ring that easily, but I'm going to take it one step further.
Whoa, Jesus Christ, Jason.
No, because, come on, man. Come on.
Kiss the ring.
No, he's talking about the Young Bucks are the greatest tag team of all time. So
that's accurate.
That is not accurate, okay?
That's what he said. He's standing by it.
Okay, then that's fine. So then as the AEW apologist in the room, I would expect him to be a little more critical on this one. If Jericho,
I'm a complex individual.
He's a tweeter.
I did like Jericho's full. Just the fact that Jericho was on there annoyed me because I didn't think that he shouldn't be. But I did like that he had this full Tony Stark looking fucking arm, and apparently he did legit hurt his elbow, so that might actually been a legit brace.
He's
but
51 years old.
It was very rich looking brace. Only rich people get that kind of shit.
Okay.
But just the fact that he was on there, at least he had a big ass brace. But I think it would have been more impactful if he wasn't on there.
Agreed. Okay. if Jericho has the the dislocated elbow, he should be off TV at least for 2 weeks. Okay, I see you're trying to make this build for Double or Nothing or whatever the case may be. Okay, fair enough. I don't have a problem with that. But that's WWE number one.
But WWE doesn't need to sell pay-per-views. AEW does. They need money.
Okay, but then, once again, here's where the booking is ass backwards. You just did Blood and Guts just last week, and now we're going to basically do the same thing 2 or 3 weeks from now, the end of the month, Memorial Day weekend. And now the step is if the Inner Circle loses, they have to break up.
I only don't like that because they just did it with SCU. Because it was the same step, right? If you don't win, you have to break up.
Right.
Like, I think that's too immediate, but I do like the fact of a new Stadium Stampede because that match was
there
money.
It is.
No, it's going to be interesting to see how they do it.
And MJF straight up said this won't be comedy, so I think it'll be a meaner version.
It's going to be interesting how they do it in front of a crowd.
Yeah, well,
because the Stadium Stampede, the only reason they were able to do it,
to
the
get
only
away
reason
with
it was that
it,
funny,
because there was nobody in there.
I still think about the Adam Page clothesline where he came from like 50 yards
he just
out.
runs 50 yards.
Oh God, that
and
was
he
so
rode a
fucking
horse
good.
into it. Like
that was so fucking good. I loved that match,
dude. It was so good, and I don't know that they'll be able to recreate the magic of the original Stadium Stampede. And I think they're going to try.
They're trying to make it a thing, which is that's fine.
It's their own. It's their own,
right?
But
let's not look into the future too much. Let's look at, and I'm not even going to talk about the angle of having the champagne cannon or whatever.
That was okay. That wasn't
the Pinnacle's.
They did that twice in WWE. Stone Cold did it first, and then Angle did it second, and now you're doing it again.
Yes.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
come on.
It was super weak and. I just forgot what I was going to say. It was going to be really
You guys
smart.
aren't wrong. Like, you're not wrong at all. Like, and if AEW retreads on a little bit of professional wrestling history, like, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing if the people that watch it like it. You know what I mean? Like, if that gets to a certain audience and it gets more people watching AEW, I'm all for it because the future of AEW is contingent on them being not just a second-rate brand. Their future of AEW is contingent on them being equal to AEW or to WWE.
Well,
that's never going to happen.
I would say it's them like transcending it, them doing something different. What they did,
which they are like 99% of the time, right?
99% of the time.
I think we just show two examples where they
80% of the time, right? I mean, like there's wrestling tropes. Right, but WWE, like we complain all the time about WWE not actually fulfilling wrestling tropes, and for the most part, we like AEW because they have actual finishes.
Well, doing WWE from 20 years ago doesn't make you new; it makes you rehashing the Attitude Era.
It was not creative. I'll give you that.
All.
It was not creative
at all. Not even close, and that to me was the problem with this. If you're going to have the victory lap for the Pinnacle, then so be it. I think we could have did a better way to make this
the Pinnacle
match
has only gotten over one time, and it was during the Blood and Guts match, and the only thing that made them go over was that MJF was going to kill Jericho, basically. And then at the beginning of this show, they had Ortiz come out and cut a promo, and I like Ortiz. I like Santana and Ortiz a lot, and it's like, oh, you guys should let these guys cut promos more often.
They're good.
And so now I'm rooting for the Pinnacle to break up the Inner Circle because I think the Inner Circle is not better than the sum of their parts anymore. I think the Inner Circle would be better broken up. There are enough factions in
That's actually
AEW.
weird to me because I feel like they're the strongest
No, and then that's why they should break up because that gives the rub to
Sammy
the Pinnacle.
Sammy Guevara by
is
himself
is a perfect baby
would
face
be awesome.
Yeah,
Ortiz and Santana
are the tag team,
and they should take the belts from Young
some
Bucks
point,
eventually.
Yes,
the actual strongest faction. That
LAX.
exists. Oh my God, you guys are agreeing. You guys are over here. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this.
Preach, my brother.
Usually it's me and Jason or me and Bill, but Jesus fucking Christ,
it's never me and Jason.
It's never. I love that, dude. That is so perfect. I didn't even
You
trip
guys
off
can
of that.
69 later, but I just want to point out.
I didn't even trip off of that until you just
I'm
said that.
6.
Wait, man, you what?
Well, you
Never
have
mind.
to be, otherwise you choke.
Yeah, right.
But the whole thing with this match, I don't necessarily love the stip, like I said, because they just did it, and I don't want the Inner Circle to break up because
Well, they have to though. If Inner Circle doesn't break up, Pinnacle's done.
I don't.
Pinnacle's
Agreed. I cannot look at them the same way.
I think the strongest faction, actually, and this is like long-term storytelling with AEW, which is what I love.
Is the Factory, QT Marshall,
No.
Quick Trip Marshall.
No.
You
Quick
ain't
Trip
shit.
Marshall.
You
The
ain't
longest-
shit. That's goddamn
The
funny.
longest running storyline is the Elite, and it's the eventual reconciliation of Adam Page, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks.
Really? You think they're gonna hug it out?
I think 2-3 years down the road, they absolutely will, and it'll be the biggest fucking pop you've ever seen since the curtain call.
All right.
I mean, you throwing fastballs up here like nobody's business.
No.
That's no joke. Okay.
Not a whole lot to say about Britt Baker sitting down with JR. Britt Baker's
Except
great.
that Britt Baker's
She
gonna take
guaranteed
that
victory.
title.
Britt Baker's taking the
taking-
title.
She's taking that
She
title.
guaranteed victory. That to me was the one thing.
DMD.
I was like, oh, you doing what? Okay.
Thunder Rosa defeats a jobber.
Squash match, and Thunder Rosa rehashing that once Britt takes this title, rehashing the best fucking match on Dynamite, like one of the top fucking 5 matches on Dynamite, one of the best wrestling like weekly television matches, especially with women. That was one of the best women's matches I've ever fucking seen in my life. And if you don't want to rehash that, you are dumb.
Apparently, Thunder Rosa and Camille are going to have a match on NWA Power to figure out if Thunder Rosa can stay in. If she loses, she has to stay in NWA exclusively. If she wins, then she can do whatever she wants to do. I wanted to see the Thunder Rosa Camille match, but just not on this step. It just kind of seems a little silly in that scenario. Not saying it's AEW's fault, but it's a match I wanted to see. Unfortunately, the stip kind of takes away from that. You want to see Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa do it again with the title on the line,
Totally.
the whole shebang. So that's why I look at this match. I'm like, I want to see it, but hopefully once again.
Well, it's time for Sheeta. She had it for a fucking year, and for a variety of reasons, right?
Okay, yeah.
For a variety of reasons.
There you go.
But, like, it is time.
Jade Cargill is a star,
Oh, she's a total star.
and she is a free agent
Somebody,
right now.
whoever the manager is not on the AEW roster right now.
Yeah,
Can we agree with that?
Totally.
It's going to be Reginald.
I don't want her to have a manager, and she doesn't necessarily. She's not. Promos are not necessarily her thing. We've seen that.
But it's not. It's not like she's bad.
No, she's not bad. But I'm just saying.
Is there a single woman, and maybe I'm missing something, is there a single woman in WWE, AEW, who has a manager except for Nyla Rose, who has Vicky Guerrero, and Nyla Rose doesn't even show up that much anymore?
No, I mean, Tay has the Dark Order behind her, but not.
But
a
I mean a manager.
Not a manager.
You know, like a Paul Heyman type.
Yeah, and
Not even
there's
a Paul Heyman type. Just
I can honestly.
I mean, there's some girls that got the Robert Stone brand behind them.
I
You know,
forgot about
yeah.
that. Yeah.
But other than that, no.
I was going to say I cannot honestly think of anybody else.
That Jade Cargill.
She's legit.
She's
oh my
something.
God,
She's legit.
she
They're
whenever
doing
she
the
says,
right
I
thing.
dominate a room. She dominates a room.
Let
If
me-
she walked in here right now, we'd be like, "Holy
Yo,
fuck!"
she's the
And not
only
just
woman in
because
this room.
But not just
So it's
because
like-
she's Jade Cargill, but just because she just outclasses all of us.
Do you
in
think
a
that you
variety
could
of
satisfy
reasons.
her sexually?
I mean, I would
Shit,
try.
I'll try. Shit. Let me get in this
I
batter's
give it my
box.
best effort.
Pine tar, please. Fantastic.
Pine tar.
He's heating up.
I'm just saying, give me a chance, boss.
And then finally, we have what I thought was a really fun match between a monster and a little guy. We had Miro.
Oh, you liked the Darby Allin match?
I like every Darby Allin match.
where he's getting thrown around like a little bitch.
Because he's a great babyface wrestler.
I don't dislike Darby Allin matches. I dislike the face paint. I dislike the skateboard.
There was
Jesus
a lot of cool
Christ.
shit. So you dislike the Seattle vignette that they did before that? I thought
Yeah,
that was
I
cool.
hated it. No,
Dude,
I
thought that was cool as
hated it.
fuck.
I think
My favorite part of the match is when he did the coffin drop and
And Miro caught him.
Miro just
Twice.
caught it. He's like,
Fell-
fuck
fell
you.
back suplex.
the first time he's
That
like,
was-
"Oh, I got
that
you."
was- that-
Whee!
that was my favorite part.
My favorite part of the match was him fist bumping Sting and saying, "I'm gonna give it my all." Essentially, like I'm up against a fucking monster, but I am still the TNT champion, and I am gonna give it my all. And thank you so much for believing in me. And here's this fist bump, and then I go to my fucking grave. Right? Like I thought that was very cool storytelling.
I was very happy with Miro taking the belt.
But then they fucking totally. So this is me. Right? AEW fucking Mark. Then they totally discounted the entire fucking win.
For the record, I've never called you the AEW apologist. That's his
I am.
thing.
No, I
think you're a
own that.
mark.
No, I
I
own
wouldn't
that.
call you an apologist.
But then they discounted the whole win with all that extra ancillary bullshit.
It was kind of weird, too. It's like, why are Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky running out
And
here?
then
No,
Lance
it's-
Archer's out there too. It's like fuck all this.
Oh, I didn't even see Lance Archer.
Lance Archer came out like afterwards, like
Yeah, that's
yeah, it's fucking
bad.
bullshit. Man.
It's bad.
Like it just because it's the main event doesn't mean you have to have fucking 15
no.
guys.
You can
out
have
there.
a heel close off or close out AEW Dynamite and like, hey,
Yeah, this is my fucking time, right? It was Miro's time, and they took it from him, and I think that's bullshit. I love that they gave the title to him because I thought that was what should have happened.
and
But
that's
they-
a good guy for Darby Allin, who's been a great TNT champion.
yeah, especially lately because
And he's
like the announcer said, didn't defend a bunch, but then he had a lot of runs. He did like 10 times in the last like 10 weeks.
Oh, he defended it a lot.
Yeah, but previous to that he hadn't, and that was like his big promo was like, I haven't defended this enough. And then he was just like beaten down, and it totally helped keep the Darby Allin character alive. But at the same time, like, give Miro his fucking moment. Like, I know the guy fucks Lana on a daily basis, but like, Jesus fucking Christ, let the guy have a fucking minute. I know he lives the greatest
You
life.
think they fuck every day?
Oh, dude, like at least.
You think?
If not, like,
Shit.
I'm thinking twice a week. I'm thinking he's tired. What do you think, Jason?
I'll say there's energy drinks for that shit. Yeah, right.
I need another
pick
fireball
whatever
thinking
you
about
want.
That.
I like the match. I think it was one of those times, and I said it on Twitter, where it was good to see the big man dominate. You know what I'm saying? And I think ultimately that's one of AEW's criticisms, that you have these big guys. You have Lance Archers. You have Brian Cage. You got Miro, and you're not letting these guys dominate.
Handsome Wardlow.
Okay. Same concept. Wardlow especially, when he came into Blood
You know
and
that
Guts,
he fucked all 5 of those models with, like, the Inner Circle. Or, like, that he just banged all 5 of them. He impregnated 3 of them. Tony Khan's going to be paying child support for years.
You better get, matter of fact,
He's got the money for it.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, just go ahead and buy AEW Double or Nothing.
Sorry,
Support
Cody.
the-
I don't have the rights to the American Dream, but I can fucking pay for Wardlow's bastard children.
Jesus Christ. See, this is why I hate going behind this motherfucker every time.
That's why you like having Zach around, though. It's been
No, I love it.
14
Yeah,
it's been 14 goddamn months.
I got to pick it up.
We never hang out.
Never. Pandemic type shit. At the end of the day, I'll just say this. I don't have a problem with the eventual end of the Inner Circle, because I think the Inner Circle, I agree with you. I think it has to break up, because you've gotten to the point where Sammy Guevara is if you did it right now, Sammy Guevara is a total baby face.
We knew that from the beginning.
But now more so, he will be the baby face, moving forward. Jake Hager, I will say this, the FTW title needs to be like the BME title from UFC. It's just like the baddest motherfucker on the block. You know, let these jokers fight it out. Brian Cage is going to have to obviously fight Adam Page at some point. I figured, you know, do whatever with that point. That title can be used as another singles title. So you can really start to break shit off where Jake Hager can go with that. You got Sammy Guevara going with that. You got now Santana and Ortiz going after the tag team titles that we've been asking for like damn near 2 years. It feels like 2 years since we talked about them coming to AEW, and now it might actually happen. I have no problem with the inner circle breaking up because ultimately, like you said, the sum is better than the bigger parts.
No, the opposite. The parts are better than the sum. Yeah.
Damn fucking that Joker.
Don't mean to be an English major on you.
No, that Joker right there.
Oh, the fireball?
I don't want it, but since you're giving it to me, I'm going to take it.
Let's get to that 3 count.
That's what's asking me.
All right, the 3 count is it's the COVID crisis in Japan. New Japan is going through some rough times right now.
Yeah, Japan is going through some rough times.
Japan is going through, New Japan.
Especially New Japan because, as I said earlier, New Japan is a market that really is contingent on drawing live fans, old school pro wrestling. They got to draw live fans, and they got to get people buying merch. They can't do that if they can't draw fans, right? Like, they can't do these empty arena shows. It's not...
I mean, they're talking about doing the G1 in one place with no fans.
Yeah.
And that sounds awful.
Especially because if you're not going to bring in some new, fresh blood.
I don't want to see any more matches ever again in an empty arena. Like, I just don't want to. I don't want to see it. And having the G1, which is, as I always call it, the actual
Super Bowl,
the real WrestleMania.
Yeah, it's the Super Bowl. It is the premier fucking.
It's the best tournament in pro wrestling. Yeah, I'll say it.
It fucking rules. Year. And to have that in front of no fans sounds.
So you rather not have it
at
all.
I'd rather have it, though.
Versus having it with no fans.
With
zero fans?
Because New Japan is so hard-hitting, and because if you are in the arena...
I'd rather not have it at all.
No, man. You can hear the smacks. You can, I think of any promotion that does the non-fans.
Have you ever gone back and watched last year's WrestleMania or just last year's Raws or whatever with no fans? It fucking sucks, man.
That's different.
No, it's not different because that's exactly what the G1 would be. The G1 would be with no fans, not even clap fans, clap crowds or whatever they call it in New Japan. I do not want to watch any more wrestling shows with zero fans. I don't want to do it.
Bill's over wearing a mask. He moved to St. Charles County.
I was just getting ready to say, I went up to the QT Marshall up the street. They're like... fast. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was the only guy wearing a mask.
Did they frisk you?
I was the only guy wearing a mask buying Camel Blues up here at the 66.
Face mask, not required, but suggested. I'm walking up, I'm like, I got the mask on, doing my thing. I go over, I'm like, what the fuck is I'm like, dude, we ain't not more
Welcome
than 20
to the Terradome.
Right? Fuck it, we just doing our own thing out here. I'll just say this. I don't necessarily have a problem with this. Ultimately, at the end of the day, this is one of those things where I would just let this thing ultimately play itself out. I'm not mad about this shit. There's plenty of other things to worry about versus...
There's kids everywhere. Go inside, please. Please. You guys, everybody piss inside from now on. There's kids around.
I was getting ready to say this motherfucker. Okay, never mind. Okay, never mind. What were we talking about again?
New Japan.
New Japan. I would like to see, obviously, New Japan to come over and everything be great, but it's probably not going to happen. So what this is, it feels like Zach said, it's going to be a time where guys are going to get healthy, but storylines might get lost. I like to see Jay White and Tanahashi run it back again. You're going to have Okada and Ospreay, run it back from Wrestle Kingdom. Would it lose a little thunder? Maybe. I don't think it will, but I just think ultimately, if you did Okada and Ospreay right there, in front of nobody, I would watch that and wouldn't move.
Listen,
and that's why I think
you just
the
point to my backyard. I would be here. It'd be me.
You
and
better
Reba.
call me.
Vice would be here.
You better call me.
You probably have to work.
No, fuck that. Hey, everybody, I'm going to quit. Will Ospreay just landed at Lambert like 10 minutes ago. I'm going to go ahead and quit. I'm going to go ahead and go to my boy's Bill's house and watch Will Ospreay.
Of course.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. I know what you're getting at. I don't want to see empty arenas either for a match like that. But you could do a match like that in an empty arena, and it would still have the same fucking quality. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Totally get what you're saying. Here's the thing, and this is not, I'm not breaking news here. It's like we don't know what's going to happen. Maybe Japan will get it all under control in the next month. Maybe Tokyo will just shut it the fuck down and just say, because the Olympics.
I didn't even think about the Olympics, honestly.
Well, the Olympics is what's really
the bigger deal.
Doing it, and if they have to shut everything down for the Olympics a month before just to get rid of their COVID problem, which is a legit problem, then hopefully they do it. I don't want to watch a G1 with empty arenas again.
I don't want to, but I will.
Totally.
Well, of course I'd watch it. Of course I'll watch it. And of course I'm excited to see who gets into the G1 because there's a few.
The biggest thing.
There's a few spots that are up for grabs.
More so.
That might be maybe Finley, No,
I think Finley gets in.
Do you think Juice Robinson gets in?
No.
You think Juice Robinson is out?
Yes.
Do you think Show is in?
Yes.
Do you think Takahashi is in? The Takahashi.
Oh yeah, Shingo's. Yeah. Yes.
No.
He's A block.
No, Takahashi.
He's talking about Yujiro.
The one from last year. No, not that Takahashi.
Hiromu.
Takahashi Hiromu. No.
Is he
Yujiro.
Bullet Club or no?
The one from last year that laid down for Jay White.
Yes.
Bullet Club.
Bullet Club Yujiro, yeah.
I'm going to say no.
He's in
you
there.
Can bring somebody else in there. Hanari can be your Yujiro.
So with AEW's relationship with New Japan now, do you think that Moxley sneaks in? Do you think
they won't sacrifice any people that they want on TV?
What you got is what you got. Okay.
So Finley's in.
Finley, I think Finley beat Jay White, and Jay White is the neverweight champion at this point.
Okay.
I mean,
any other surprises you think?
Aleister Black.
Yeah, right. I was getting ready to say he was just on WWE program and he ain't coming over. Apparently, Tina Trinidad is coming back to.
Yeah, I heard she.
Stupid.
I do not think that Tia Trinidad is going to be in G1.
I heard she was.
No, as a matter of fact, she's probably not. I would love to see her in Stardom. That would be amazing.
Now,
but
Daniel Bryan in the G1. That's something.
You would have to move. Okay, all bullshit aside for 30 seconds.
Me? I would go crazy.
All bullshit aside.
For Daniel Bryan Yano.
You couldn't do it now. Here's the bad part about New Japan not doing their thing is because now you can do it. Brie would not allow Daniel Bryan to go to Japan now in this scenario.
Oh,
you in on their pillow talk?
Oh yeah, I would like to think that this is a safe bet. I'm not in anybody else's pillow talk, but I would venture to say this is a safe bet. Daniel Bryan's not going to
that one time. That one time you slept in between me and Aaron.
You ain't supposed to put that out there
because you got too drunk.
Yeah, I was about to say you ain't got to put that out there, dog. I was about to say keep that down.
Daniel Bryan never been in a G1, and I think that just like John Moxley,
Woo!
Rocky Romero called John Moxley and he was like, "Hey, I want you in the G1," and he was like, "Oh fuck."
Could
like,
you? Oh,
I never
could
even
you
thought about
imagine?
this. So like, even John
Because
Moxley,
Moxley in G1 was as good as it.
Yeah,
Like it was everything we expected
it's as good
to
as
be.
it gets, and he had never even thought about it. And then Rocky Romero calls him, and he's like, "Babe, I got to do the G1."
Look,
like,
I'm not.
You want to do
With
9
a
matches?
newborn child, you're gonna go.
Oh, are you saying?
a
Are they
newborn
going?
child where they have fucking money to?
I'm
play
sorry.
as
I'm
many
sorry.
nannies
I
as
meant
they
Daniel
want?
Bryan.
They should invite
with a
me to
newborn-
be in the G1.
Yeah, I mean, you got nannies, you got money. Like you could do. It's his dream.
I would be very,
My
very
mother-in-law
surprised.
is right
Andrade.
there, half hour away.
Andrade is probably the guy that should be sneaking over there right now to get into the
That's
G1
a safe bet.
versus Daniel Bryan.
How about Daniel Bryan versus Andrade in the G1?
Stop.
How
stop.
about that?
Stop. No.
Now
No.
we're talking.
No. No.
Now we're talking.
No. Halle Berry ain't here. You're not going to just reel me into this
Halle
fantasy
Berry and
world.
Swordfish.
Hey, baby.
That's gonna do it for our 3 counts.
1, 2, 3.
Not like that.
All right. Been a while since we had some predictions here, boys. So we have the WrestleMania Backlash.
I'm sorry, I rolled my eyes. I'm sorry, I rolled my eyes.
So basically, WrestleMania is no longer the end of the feud.
It hasn't been for a while.
I know, but they're pretty much just telling us it isn't. Like, it hasn't been, but now they're explicitly telling us that WrestleMania is not, and now it's just another episode of Raw.
No, it's not an episode of Raw. There's actually a couple matches I
Because
actually
it'll be
want to see.
mildly entertaining instead of...
No, I think there's a couple matches that will be
You've been
entertaining.
in a coma?
I think there's a couple matches that will be entertaining. The rest, I think it will be to
All
the
right.
script, but let's talk about it.
Let's start off with the match that's definitely going to be entertaining, which is Damian Priest versus The Miz.
Oh, yeah.
Did they announce the stip on this?
It's a lumberjack
Jack match. Thank
which
you.
Which is, I mean, the hottest stip. I can't imagine a better stip for this match.
I'll start off.
Definitely not going to end in a screw job at all.
I'm taking Damian Priest.
I'm taking Damian Priest too.
Oh,
There's no
please
reason.
give me Damian Priest.
Yeah, there's
if
no
it's
reason
the
for him
Miz,
not to.
I'm going to fucking riot.
No, if
I'm going to burn down a Marshall.
God forbid if the Miz wins, then it might be for the fact that you're breaking Miz and Morrison up long term. That's the only reason I think.
Which is fine, and I mean, I know they're kind of gearing towards that, but like John Morrison, like Miz has said in interviews, John Morrison is a top guy, and he should have been, and he came back
not
to
WWE. He's not.
No, but he came back and he got relegated right to the same spot. But John Morrison proved himself as a top guy elsewhere, and then he got slotted.
What did we say earlier? What you did beforehand doesn't matter what you did when you walk into the store.
I can still be mad about it.
No,
Hey,
be mad. Shit, I'm mad for you.
Zach, can I ask you a question? Because you host a wrestling podcast every week.
Really?
Yeah.
He hosted?
If I asked you what the tag team name of Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode was, would you be able to
He
tell
better
me?
know it.
It's the Raw Dogs.
Man, that's pretty close. Not it, though. Are you serious?
No, I know it's close, but that's what I want it to be.
It's the Dirty Dogs.
The Dirty Dogs, but it's still the same thing.
No, it's really not.
Do you know
Raw Dirty Dogs.
Do you know what the tag team name of Dom and Rey Mysterio is?
The Holy Trinity.
It's
Father, Son, it's only missing the Holy Spirit.
It's the Dirty Lobos.
Are you serious?
No, I'm kidding. Who do you got? The Dirty Dogs versus the Mysterios.
The Holy Spirit is really the most bullshit part of the whole fucking Christian theology. So, I mean, like,
Okay, let's get back on track. Pick the winner.
Well, none of it's real. Yeah.
Pick the winner.
Winner is white people.
Oh my
Okay,
God!
you're taking the Dirty Dogs then. They are the white people.
No, but really, the winner will be. They're going to do this thing just for the documentaries later on. It's going to be the Mysterios.
Okay, that's why I'm picking two. What are you picking, Jason?
I agree. It's going to be the Mysterios. We'll talk about this later on, but
I like you
the
asked what
Mysterios
Jason's picking, and he says Mysterios and not God.
Jesus
fucking Christ! What the fuck was that?
It was just me being too drunk.
He's
God
drunk.
damn.
He's like, on the text thread today, he's like, I'm not doing any fireballs. Not doing any fireballs.
And then I
doing any
did 5.
fireballs.
And now TBC
Honestly,
arrives.
Now he's talking about Jason picking cotton.
I
Which,
would
for
do
the
it.
record,
There's
you
a
better
labor
be,
shortage, and I would do it if it's profitable.
Look, I'll kiss ass on a daily basis. I'll be good. God damn. If I'm going to be picking cotton out here, I'm going to be Denzel Washington getting that whip on Gory. No, it's good. No, I ain't picking no cotton. No, sir. No,
All right.
sir.
Let's go with the women's match. Rhea Ripley is the champion. This is the Bill Baggy special. It's a triple threat. Rhea Ripley versus Asuka
One of
versus Charlotte Flair. Jason, I want you to give me the least to the most. Who do you think has the least amount of chance of winning this match?
I'm going to go Asuka with 3. No reason for Asuka at this point. Has held the title for so many days, so be it. So now you got the 1 or 2 chance with Charlotte in play. It's a 50-50 chance. I don't care what the angle says. God damn it. I'm going to just say Charlotte 2. I'm going to go Rhea with retaining the title, pinning Asuka in some form or fashion where you can still have Charlotte in play with Sonya Deville as her sidekick. Rhea 1, Charlotte 2, Asuka 3.
Two beers at.
That is accurate.
That's exactly what I have. That is super fucking
That's
boring.
good pod. That's good pod.
Good
Sorry,
pod.
man. I mean,
Good
you let me
pod.
go first.
Okay.
Break it down.
He comes in with the logic.
Bianca Belair versus Bayley. I'll just go with Bianca Belair. Everybody's going Bianca Belair.
Oh, I mean, Jesus fucking
It would
Christ,
be
like,
really hard to have Bayley win this match at this point. I
totally.
agree.
And I mean, I think they're gonna have a good match for sure. But
I think it's time because you have to, and I'm not trying to push this match to the side, but you have to give this match time to really start to establish Bianca as a champion. You bring Sasha back, you run that back, and then from that point you can move on.
Yeah, totally. Like Bianca is a star.
The microphone is an instrument.
Oh, I gotta go closer.
Yeah, there we go.
Closer. Like Natalie Portman in Closer.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You guys ever seen that movie?
Oh, no.
You
It's
almost
rough.
see her pussy. It's great.
Oh, you know what my favorite part of that movie is where
You almost see her pussy.
Clive Owen is chasing Julia Roberts around, and he's like, he finds out that she cheated on him, and he goes, "What did this cum taste like?" Julia Roberts goes, "Why do you want to know what this cum tasted like?" And he goes, "'Cause I'm a fucking caveman."
That is wild. I almost feel like you could.
My friend Jones said that him and his mom went and saw that movie.
Movies are you
at the
watching?
theater.
Together?
Yeah, together.
Oh, my God.
They were just like, "Oh, let's go see this Julia Roberts movie," and like Clive Owen goes,
Surprise.
"What did this cum taste like?" And Jones turned to his mom and goes, "What do you think, Mom? What does cum taste like?"
I was going to say.
I feel like if you like interjected that with like Children of Men, you would have a great film.
So
Y'all need to watch. Never mind. This is why black people would just watch action shit. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers getting blown up. We ain't worried about, who's coming on, whatever. You know what I'm saying? God bless y'all.
Dude,
God
Bill and I
bless
went-
y'all.
that's
Bill and I
went and saw-
that's because you guys never pull out. You guys don't come on anything.
Hey, guess what?
You guys
Guess
don't come
what?
on anything
And
except for the cervix.
And guess what? We still getting more paid. They getting paid more than I am. I'm working my narrow ass off to the
I bet
bone.
my neighbors are around like, who the fuck? Like, I thought these guys were doing a sports podcast.
dude, I love when
Not anymore.
Bill and I went and saw John Wick in the theaters, and it was like the
Oh,
best
it's great.
professional wrestling match you've ever seen. Like everybody
It's running
was,
commentary.
even though everybody in the theater was white, they were all black because they were like, yes, yes. It was fucking great.
I'm sorry. I'll just say this and we can move on. I love the fact that I can go into a movie theater with all black people because it's running commentary. I'm not thinking it. You're just saying it.
It's
It just
the
makes
best.
my life feel a lot more easy in life. Please.
One time I went and saw 30 Days of Night at the Esquire. And I don't know if you've ever seen 30 Days of Night. It's a crazy fucking movie where the town in Alaska has no sunshine,
which is no black man's paradise by any stretch of imagination.
10 o'clock at night on Sunday, and the entire theater was going crazy the entire time, except for there came a part about in the middle of the movie where there's this little girl who's a zombie, and Josh Hartnett goes up with his axe and just cuts his little girl's head off, and like,
fuck yes,
everybody shut the fuck up except for me and my girlfriend at the time, and I was cackling like, it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen in my life. I was like, he just cut
that's what should have happened
shit.
No, that's what should have happened in Night of the Living Dead. That was the whole downfall in Night of the Living Dead.
Come on, man. I mean, like, the little zombie kids, we can give them a pass for 30 seconds. Move along. Maybe you don't know
No, you got to take them out.
No.
You got to take them out.
A shout out to George Romero for having a black man as the hero in Night of the Living Dead. Like, I showed my kids that movie, like, very early. Every one of my kids, I've showed that movie very early.
See, I need to have kids.
And they were just, every time they shot that black guy in the head, they were like, what the fuck?
You might have a kid.
Oh,
he's
probably 31. You ain't shit. Next match, please.
Your kid's old enough for me to take out to dinner.
He's going to take you out to dinner.
So we got Lashley. I'm talking about a girl. It's Lashley, McIntyre, and Braun Strowman.
Dude, like, for real, like, why? This is a perfect example. The only reason Braun Strowman is in this match is to get a fucking pin.
Okay.
This is the quintessential WWE trope.
No,
like, Jesus,
I agree with that.
That's what we thought about WrestleMania, though.
Also, Braun Strowman cannot be a monster among men when there's 5 guys on the roster that are taller than him. Oh, my fucking God. Why does every week we have to introduce a guy that's taller than Braun Strowman?
He's heating up.
What do you think, Jason?
Well,
wait, no. So give me your picks.
Fucking
least to worst.
You're going.
I'm sorry.
You're going Braun Strowman last.
Obviously,
I'm guessing. And then who you think wins, McIntyre or Lashley?
I think McIntyre. He didn't do it at WrestleMania where I thought it was gonna be. I think it would have been better if it was like flip flopped, and because I told you guys this was the first match on WrestleMania, and then Lashley retained, right? Like, so, like, if Lashley would have took the title from him, it would have been fine, but it was a dead fucking situation because he just retained against the babyface, and we had the fucking Vince McMahon, we're in front of so many fans, blah, 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 and then all of a sudden, the fucking babyface loses against a retaining heel champion, and then we had the worst women's match in fucking history, so I feel like it's going to be ass fucking backwards, and we're going to have Drew McIntyre win now, and then we'll probably have 11 fucking matches with Bobby Lashley after the fact.
I'm going the exact same as Two Beer. I'm going Braun Strowman last, McIntyre first, Lashley in the middle. What do you got?
Wow. I almost think that I feel like I'm the guy that's missing everything else. We're going to get another Drew versus Lashley match, but it's going to be Lashley as the champion. I know that WWE likes to, Jedi mind trick us a lot. Before WrestleMania,
this is not the finish you're looking for.
Before WrestleMania, Lashley destroyed Braun, and we were on this podcast. We all talked about it. Was like, oh my God, how is Lashley destroying Braun? Blah blah blah. I don't think there's not much different than this. Braun is going to be the guy that gets the pin. He's number 3. You're going to have Lashley and Drew go with this one more again because SummerSlam is just around the corner. Why not have that pinnacle moment at SummerSlam?
Did he say pinnacle?
I did say pinnacle. I meant, okay, you English majors, you know what the fuck I'm talking about.
You think
anybody that's still listening to this podcast at this point is like, man, these guys have fallen apart.
No.
They're right.
No, I'm not. We're not falling apart.
I blame Vice.
I'm taking number 1. I'm
Definitely
taking Bobby
Vice's
Lashley. I'm taking 2 as Drew McIntyre because they can run it back. And number 3 is Braun Strowman. I mean, damn. Everybody forgets how Lashley destroyed Braun Strowman before WrestleMania.
Okay. Last match.
Bray Wyatt drowned him.
Yeah, that's like 9 months beforehand. Another story for another time.
Who did he drown?
Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman.
Oh, I
Swamp
thought you were talking about Lashley because he can't swim.
Wow.
So
We're throwing that out there.
Man.
We're throwing that out there.
Hey, I'm
We're throwing that out
sorry.
there.
I'm
Not
sorry.
saying you're wrong.
It's
as
a
the black man is in the
You
room.
make that
I
joke
can't swim.
every time we
I
watch
can't
the
swim.
challenge.
I
Every
can't
time
swim.
we
Yep,
no,
damn
it's not
right.
you. Every time we watch a challenge, you're like,
Nope.
oh, here,
Nope.
here goes Leroy. He can't swim.
God bless that motherfucker.
Here goes Alton. Alton can't swim.
Yep. God bless him. Can't swim. Who's the black guy that can't swim? This guy right here.
Last but not least, we have Roman Reigns versus Cesaro, and this is the match I'm looking forward to the most because this match has actually had quietly the best build of all these because Raw sucks. Raw is terrible. I barely even wrote down Raw stuff this week, and I write down everything because Raw is terrible.
You're not wrong.
You ain't wrong.
Raw is awful. But
Shayna Baszler.
Jimmy Uso showed up last week on SmackDown
There you go.
and told Roman he's not going to be his bitch. He goes, I'm not like my brother. He goes, I ain't no bitch.
That's the first, because
It was pretty fucking cool.
I gotta say,
And then they had Cesaro versus Seth Rollins match, and Cesaro accidentally runs into Jey Uso. Jimmy Uso super kicks Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins goes backstage to Roman Reigns and says, Roman Reigns says, I can handle my family. Seth Rollins says,
You better handle it.
you better handle your family.
Otherwise, I will.
Otherwise, I will. Now we're looking at Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns thing, which I'm very interested
which
in.
makes sense because of their history. I feel like
Right,
that's the
but
ultimate build.
I also like they didn't make Jimmy go right along with Jay.
Yeah, they're
In
not.
terms of the story, it's a cool story. They are doing really good work with
It's
Roman
so
Reigns.
many layers.
It's
How
he's
is
the only one
Raw
they're
and
doing good
SmackDown
work
under the same fucking umbrella is beyond me.
Is Jason Jordan doing both of them? Because
Yes.
yeah, obviously he's just trying to clean up after Raw because it's such a
Well-
fucking mess.
Raw is
I mean, if you're a pedophile, you love Raw.
that Alexa Bliss shit is abominable. Like just the worst shit you could see.
No,
But anyway,
motherfuckers like that
That's
shit,
not what
but
we're
go
talking
ahead.
about. That's not what we're talking about. We could bitch about Alexa Bliss, but
Okay,
Roman
that
Reigns
shit
versus
is
Cesaro. Cesaro comes out at the very end of SmackDown. European uppercuts Jimmy, and then does a neutralizer on Jay and Roman, and stands tall, which we know is a WWE move because he's not going to go over, but they want to make him look strong going into the pay-per-view. But we got Roman Reigns versus Cesaro. I'm taking Roman Reigns, but I am interested to watch this match because every single Roman Reigns title match on a pay-per-view since he's become champion has been good. It was Jay.
Even though it was Jey Uso interfering in all of them.
No, two of them were against Jay, and
Yeah,
they were both
totally.
good also.
Even the one where they fucked up the handcuff spot was good.
Oh, the Kevin Owens. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was fucking awesome.
Yeah, so
Roman Reigns is good.
yeah, I've got
It's-
Roman
he's
Reigns,
great.
but I am thrilled
Okay.
to watch this match because I think Cesaro is going to give him the match of his fucking life.
Oh, I agree.
I think we
This
all
is
agree
Cesaro's
with
biggest
Roman
match.
Reigns. I'll just say this. With Roman Reigns on this one, it's kind of like Kenny Omega. You want to just build up the body count of guys that Roman Reigns beats onto the way, and I don't know who it is. Big E is the guy that everybody likes to come out throw out there. I think that's not necessarily the case. The
I think
Rock is one of those guys that they throw out there. I think that's
Dude, The Rock can't win that title.
No.
I would love to see the match.
No, I would love to see the match, but I think it would be a speed bump into ultimately who does Roman Reigns cough up the title to? Because
Brock Lesnar.
dude, don't
All right,
don't
so
do that.
we
shit.
all have-
we all got Roman Reigns.
We all have the same picks, except Jason has Lashley winning, and Zach and I have McIntyre winning.
I totally think Lashley wins.
That's pretty indicative of this pay-per-view because it's just
just in the sense that we're going to run it back. SummerSlam's right around the corner. We can run it back as a single.
Yeah, there's no way that all of us get it right, though.
This is like another episode of fucking SmackDown.
There's
no.
See, we always think that. That's not the way it goes.
No. I will give SmackDown the credit.
No, I like SmackDown. I watch SmackDown way more than Raw.
In the sense that
once in the last 12 months?
Once a month. Once a month. About once a month.
Even with Bianca and Bayley, it feels like it should be.
I feel like
it should be done deal.
I feel like Charlotte could win. In fact,
of course. Anybody
really
like
you're going to change it? You're going to change it? You're going to change it right now.
But
I'm going to change it.
No, he just changed it. He just changed it. I'm looking at him scratching this shit off right now. He's changing this shit. You motherfucker.
I'll allow you to change it.
No, I'm not. Honestly.
Wait, hold on. Do you think this is cheating?
No, it's not cheating. Because
I'm allowing anybody else to change any of their picks. Do you think that this is cheating?
Look, as far as I'm concerned, this is like voter fraud. You put the vote in, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, so-and-so is not going to win? Give me this vote back. I'll take this vote. No.
I'll put it back.
You can take Charlotte. I would just say this.
You know I'm going to be wrong anyway.
We don't know.
Do you care?
We don't know who's going to be wrong on this one. I'll just say this.
We stopped keeping track. It's just going to be Kurt Stallion give me a chop once a year.
Yeah, once a year.
From here on out.
Good. In this beautiful, backyard you have, yeah, we can do that right here in the front.
Nice Charlotte's suffering for Andrade's decisions.
Are we going to really think two things and we can go away? Number one.
Andrade's going to take away her choice.
No, there's nothing that can hurt Charlotte Flair. She is in Vince's mind.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
Her plastic surgeon's trying.
Yeah.
You know what? She has body issues because of all people, not like us, but other people. Issues. And she shouldn't have body issues because she's beautiful.
She's starting to look like Meg Ryan.
Oh, Jesus.
Listen,
Meg Ryan is good to go right now.
You got mail.
Yeah, I mean, if you're into Jack Nicholson playing the Joker without the makeup, yeah. She is very attractive.
Wow.
That just happened. We should cut this out. We should cut this out. Hey, guys. Hold on a second.
This is banned from ringside.
We got some birthdays this week. Scarlett Bordeaux is 30.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy.
Said, oh, yeah.
She's Kip Sabian's gal, right? Just
no.
kidding, Zach. Just kidding. Jesus Christ. Vader would have been 66, R.I.P.
He's got some real estate laying around.
Zack Ryder, a.k.a. Matt Cardona, would be... No, he is 36. He's still alive.
He would be.
Kevin Von
He's
Erich.
36, married to a cease and desist.
I was going to say, I assume I would see him in 2 minutes.
Kevin Von Erich is 60, or would be 64.
Kevin is still alive.
Kevin is the only one that's still alive.
Really?
Yes.
He's the only one.
Jesus Christ.
You were in... Yeah, I mean, that was a good guess, but he's the only one still alive.
All the others are
Farouk?
dead. Definitely alive. I'm sorry.
No,
Damn. Florida State, the whole shebang.
Rod
I'm sorry. I'm
Simmons,
going to say
63.
It. My
Good for
nigga.
him.
Florida State's in the house.
The Good Father.
Oh, he's still alive.
I call him the Good Father,
No.
not the
Also,
Godfather.
there's a-
Because right to censor.
There's a Dark Side of the Ring coming up about the Brawl for All. And
No, we already
it's already
did that. No, we already did that.
It's already out.
I'm going to take.
it?
I got
Okay.
it recorded in there.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
for sure.
I didn't listen.
Okay. Hang on, man. If we're going to talk about this shit where it's
I'm doing birthdays. What are we doing here?
Fine. Go ahead. Finish.
This is not conversation time.
Fine.
What do you
Finish.
want to say?
No, I'm good.
Say what you want to say.
I'm good.
This ain't conversation time, motherfucker.
Okay.
I'm
so
doing
it's
birthdays.
the birthdays. So celebrate the birthdays.
Good Father is 60. Also known as the Godfather.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
What's his real name?
Charles something.
I mean, goddamn.
I'm doing birthdays.
It's like Charles
Do not
Goodwin
talk,
or
guys.
something.
That was a test.
I think it's Charles Goodwin.
Mike
Okay,
Kanellis is
thank
36. Earl Hebner is 72. His brother Dave Hebner,
He
guess
screwed
how old
Brett.
he is?
36.
No, he's 72. They're
They're
twins.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
thought you said 36. Okay, it's at least half.
Jimmy the Superfly Snuka. R.I.P. to
Murderer.
his
It's
murder
your
victim.
fault. It's
He
your
would have been
fault.
78. Andre the Giant would have been 75. God bless Andre
Oh
the
my
Giant.
god! I just watched that
R.I.P.
Andre doc. It's fucking great.
Yeah, he's cool. The aforementioned Aleister Black is 36.
No hard feelings.
Can't wait to see you in the G1. And
No,
Kip,
he's not coming back to the G1.
I just want to see him in Thea Trinidad.
and Kip
He
Sabian.
came back on WWE TV. He's not going anywhere. Thea Trinidad's come back. She ain't going nowhere.
It's Tia Trinidad.
I just want
Neither
fucking-
one
like-
of them are going anywhere, man.
Aunt Trinidad.
Anybody got
Man, I will
OnlyFans
bust you over
passwords?
the head right
I'm
now.
down.
Neither one of them are going over there. They did all this shit to get us wild up,
Hey,
and
everybody.
nothing happens.
We know there's tons of podcasts to listen to, so we appreciate you guys
Thank
listening
you
to our
And I
podcast.
apologize for everything we said.
For everything that he
For
said.
Murray the Murray Man Murray. For
Check.
Lucha Chris.
Check.
For F&B Eatery. R.I.P.
For Narrow Gauge Brewing.
Check, yeah.
For Reba.
Check.
Reba the Pup. For Vice. For
Check.
2 Year Zach Coleman.
Check.
For Jason Cornelius Bell.
Konnichiwa,
I am
bitches.
Bill Vagey, a.k.a. the Shish Kajab.
I mean, the quarterback of this bitch. God bless you.
Everybody boo the heels.